戏还没有结束啊，
根本停不下来。美味持久，久到离谱。
All right. Hello. Can you guys hear me? Doing a quick mic test. I think I fixed my mic. The mic sound should be coming out of both ears now. And I missed the first game because I just woke up. Yo, what's up, Scotty? Oh, I should go back to sleep, man. How's your day? I just woke up and I could honestly go back to sleep, but I was like, fuck, I overslept. I need a viewer party, even though it's not a weekend final. Should still get my ass up to viewer party. So I'm here. Where's my YouTube chat? Hold up. If you guys are talking on YouTube. Oh, okay, I see YouTube chat now. Okay. Oh, okay. Smiley, YT, Shred2K, Anon, KY, Majestic. What's up, guys? And Rex. Yes, I woke up right now. So I missed the first game. Am I still playing competitive? Not right now, but I'm looking for a team for PMJL. Who won first match? Did I send out notification on Trovo? No, I have not yet, actually. I'm going to do that right now. Who won first match? Did I send out notification on Trovo? No, I have not. You're going to hear me double for a second there. Okay, I sent out notifs right now. And I'll see who won game 1 in a second here. Let's see if any action happens in the beginning. If not, I'll skip back to game 1. Oh.
我跟你讲，今天这个圈一圈，假如要是出来是一个东部的圈型，那估计局绝对第一话就是兄弟们裂开，赶紧回家。哎呦，裂不裂开无所谓了，海岛地图每次跳 S 城就刷男圈。哎，还有 ACT 啊 ，ACT 也是这个2个备用跳。
All right, so for everyone watching, this is the weekly elimination, and it's so there's a total of 20 teams competing in this league, right? And the top 15 make it to the weekend of finals. And it works a little bit interesting here. Looks like TEC won the first game. They have 20 points so far for the elimination finals. Beer Party PMPL EU? EU at 18:30. I think I'm busy at that time today. Yeah, I'm gonna be busy during that time. Hey, Sweet Coco. He's playing really well. When is PMGL starting? PMGL? Like, you mean the PMGC? Why you do this? I was waiting. Sorry, man. I overslept a little bit. TC want for yeah, okay. So, who in the chat knows how the elimination weekly works again? So, like, the bottom 5, like, how do they decide who plays on the first day? Because there's 20 teams, but only 15 teams play at a time. So how do they decide which 5 teams sit out on the first day? Like, how do they pick the first 15 teams that play for the day? Teams who played last finals play first day. Okay, so the 15 teams that make it... Okay, top 15 teams in the finals play the first day. Read it on Wikipedia. I had the Wikipedia up last time, but I don't think I saw it. Okay, so the top 15 teams from the weekend finals play on the first day. The top 5 qualify on day 1. And then on the second day, the 5 that didn't play replace the top 5 on day 1 to play on day 2. And then the top 10 on day 2 qualify into the weekend finals, right? And each day is its own qualification day. So it's not a 2-day qualification. It's just top 5 from day 1 move on, and then the scores reset, right? And then top 10 on day 2 qualify into the weekend finals. And then the weekend finals is a 2-day thing. Okay. That's interesting. I think competitively there's nothing wrong with that. The only thing that kind of sucks is if on day 1 you get like 6th place and you don't qualify because you miss it by just a little bit. But you'll play day 2, and on day 2 all you need is top 10, which if you have like a decent day, not even decent, if you play like okay on day 2, you should get top 10. Okay. I like that. I like that format actually. I like that format a lot. For 20 teams, for a league, that's a really good format. China is a beast in terms of tourneys. Yeah, it's non-stop. So the crazy thing is, I found out last weekend, right, that each weekend, the first place prize for each weekend, meaning after 2 days of playing, the first place team for those 2 days gets $155,000. So for after 2 days of play, right? Think about it. $155,000 for first place for just 1 weekend. Just 1 weekend. Other regions don't even have a first place prize of $155,000 for a whole entire tournament. First place for PMPL North America was like $10,000. And that was after the whole entire tournament was done and finished. Just 1 weekend of play. If you're first place for that 1 weekend, you get $155,000. And now each season, right, has 5 weekends. So there's 5 different times you can win $155,000 if you get first place. Yeah, they have 5 weekends. WBG's up there right now. WBG won the last weekend. Nice try. Others don't have the total of a weekly yeah, exactly. Other entire tournaments don't have just the 1 weekly prize pool of a PEL game. And then each season of PEL has 5 weeks. And then each year, PEL has 4 seasons. Other regions, we have like 2 big tournaments a year, right? We have the beginning of the year, and then the end of the year. We have like 2 tournaments. China has 4 in a year. And each 4 has like more prize pool than like any other tournaments. Oh, Weibo got zoned. Oh my god. I swear, every time that I've been watching PEL, Weibo Gaming has been getting very good circles. This time PEC is in the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Shanghai. Yeah, I saw that. Well, I watched SCA final tomorrow. Oh shit, SCA final starts tomorrow? What time does that start at? I told everyone I would watch it, and I do want to watch it. I feel like it's going to conflict with... Let me check what time it starts. Oh, no 4 a.m. because 4 a.m. didn't make it into the last weekend's finals, so they don't play on the first day. They will play on day 2, which is tomorrow, and the points from day 1 do not carry over into day 2. Yeah, it starts really early.
Oh. 其实丢的位置已经很准了。是，但是伞兵的油门更快。直觉和嗅觉更灵敏。是。 这个地方等于说把山头放给了 SMG 是可以的，毕竟人少啊，没有办法。
其实刚才那颗雷有一些难度的，因为毕竟在低点往上面，你要去预判这些位置的话，其实还是挺难的。
好。 这一边，哎呦，刚刚前脚刚走，后脚 Showtime 就赶了过来啊。
What was my favorite global tournament participate in terms of enjoyment? Experience enjoyment? It'd be the very first PMSC in Dubai. What time is it for me? It's 6 a.m. right now. You also said you watch 4 a.m. tomorrow too. What is BGMI? Battlegrounds Mobile India? Oh, that Crafton has invested 100 mil for esports and other stuff in Battlegrounds Mobile India. I'm not surprised. India has a huge scene. YY just fell to his death. What's up, VK? OP. Terrible as Ultra Instinct, I knew it.
对，万一待会儿这个圈型直接刷走了，得不偿失啊。好，3圈给到一个西切，那这样的话 ，TMG 还是挺香的一个位置。是。
Let's see where Weibo decides to go on this circle.
中心去拉一下，跟 Showtime 没有必要打架。
但是刚才。 NV 腾讯视频战队从山上撤离之后，来到了 SMG 脚下的一个防区，现在所处的这个防区也算是圈里比较香的一个点位。
没错，比较靠近中心。
Why is protesting?
这么远吗？
Wait, why would he be protesting? That's a really nice shot.
我就想问一句，客服，什么时候封号？
太帅了，真的，这一波。
Scout told that there will be separate esports ecosystems similar to China, and tourneys will be FPP. Oh shit, that is dope. If Zute was a girl, her name would be Zoe or Zui. It would be Zui, huh? The girl version of my name would be Zui. Yeah, the global tournament where China participates is usually at the end of the year. PMGC happens once a year. But there will be there's just PMCO and PMPL for the first half of the year. And then another PMCO and PMPL for the second half of the year, I think. But there will also be a PMGC. Why is it frozen? Hello? Chinese production? Okay, we could still hear the game, so I think this is something wrong with the Chinese broadcast. Because the screen is stuck, but we still hear audio. Only one PMCO and PMGC. How to pronounce Y? All three separately or just Y? I'm not sure. Let me look at the Chinese PEL. Where's Trio? Okay, it's back. Alright, we're fine.
有一架之战了。
而且在北部，佟家堡和微博，我觉得也会有一架呀。像这样的圈型，来到阶段。
Oh, can you could just name your daughter Zoe or Zui?
是，佟家堡刚才知道自己身后是有 RNG 的，而且 RNG 这边过来已经踩了圣马丁的一个点位之后，佟家堡可能要看一下微博那里有没有突破口。
Okay, so Weibo didn't rotate too far; they just edged in.
他一圈位置还可以，2圈给他刷成圈中心之后，3圈4圈，你看他基本都不运动，对啊，他基本都 不太需要大范围的转移。
That's so cool for India though. Battlegrounds Mobile India is gonna have $100 million invested into the esports.
微博这里 Z9 被放倒，而大将军击倒了龙仔的背身。
Oh, they drove straight into Weibo Gaming's trap.
狗井也被微博全部收入囊中，在这样的一个位置，微博战队是把自己的枪线拉开到了极致。
That's such a good setup by Weibo.
大将军刚才那个枪线也是防不胜防，这一波非常漂亮。
固若金汤，
这个我们事后可以说啊，这个事后可以说。
咱俩以后就事后说固若金汤啊，事前这个就交给阿梅老师。
可以来看一下这里啊，绝地骁龙也是。
No one watches PMPS. Wait, what's PMPS? PUBG Mobile. PMPS. Which region is that?
我觉得在圈边的队伍啊，到最后。 你要么就是在圈边打赢一队，然后撞到圈里又把圈里的给干了，要不然就是你在圈边可能这一架就没了。
是，绝地骁龙其实现在还是可以再做打算，虽然他们载具已经冒烟了，但如果
Let's enjoy PEL now.
另一侧的 Showtime 也是让人很难受的。好，这里
是直接放倒了清油，在清油在
Oh Korea. Oh.
而 RNG 是也是在圣马丁的山头开始往南部。
What's the event happening in China called MSI? Oh, that's League of Legends. So right now there's a huge it's the League of Legends tournament happening in China. Yeah, MSI is League of Legends.
本来是有优势的一架，但是我觉得由于着急，可能丧失掉了自己的队友2个性命。
那这样的话 ，Showtime 要不要抓紧这样的机会 ？Showtime 在旁边其实看了很长时间了。
大家都在观望阶段啊，不想轻易的下海。但是像这样一个阶段，如果说这个其实最大的不上来劝的一种可能就是什么？你这个高山始终是要被蓝圈逼着走的，
是
很有可能在下山的过程当中就受到额外的枪线干扰。所以说，基本上也就是在反坡看一眼就好。
说他们这里也是稍微的观察了一手，
rough
发现那边已经
for a lot of the teams on the edge here.
自己也不在圈内啊。一个高打低，哎呀，自己被放倒。
在这样一个点位，刚才是被 ZD 骁龙。
Look how slow the shield goes down. This zone doesn't hurt at all.
而花痴这局也拿到了一个淘汰。
好，自己不断的在完成自己向这个下一个100进罚的使命。看一下 ZD 骁龙这个地方，这2个人基本上是没有办法服了。
Will I watch PMPL Southeast Asia tomorrow? Yeah, I'll watch the finals tomorrow. I probably won't watch PEL because it's just a weekly elimination. In China, Honor of Kings is more hyped than PEL. Yeah, I know there's other mobile games that are even bigger than PUBG in China. China just has such a huge focus on mobile gaming. It's pretty cool to see.
我觉得还真的不太好说，但是 Powerboy 这里好像是抽到了 Showtime 99的背身。
Let me see what time PMPL SEA starts.
被放倒的话，其实对于 Showtime 来说会比较难。自然灿这边也是包围过去了。
但是好像 TC 这里想要往后撤，这我觉得我个人感觉啊，我有点没太看懂。
可能不想浪费太多时间，因为现在还是一个比较宽的宽边啊，这个蓝圈的收缩是比较快的。
Showtime 这里想要扎一波，帅狗坐在后半座上，这个位置有一些危险。
还好载具比较多，分散火力，哇，99这个地方没有办法。
帅狗也被扫了下来，
而且再往前走，这里是另一边已经布局好的天霸战队。Showtime 这一路确实非常难走。
我觉得最主要的一个原因就是那个位置其实已经走不了了，很难再往前。
Car 1v1 哦！
小智在近点，这
就是贴脸。
Did he really just do that?
这不封号吗？
哇，这个地方 Showtime 一路又是经历了 TC， 又是经历 NVT 新战队，再经历天霸，最后经历。
Man's just pulled out a Car 98 close range in a 1v1.
恐怖游戏。好 ，SP 这一边也是迎接了。
Sheesh.
带走了山治，导师也放倒了主线。王媛媛刚进来又被芝木放倒，这样一个位置，洛丽塔开着提前枪，好在最后是洛丽塔
Oh, here comes a third party from Weibo. Oh, look at that. They already have a person watching the off angle on the back.
就抓到了一个背身。
那我们来算个数学题，房内2人，明明在外面，还有一位大将军，他在哪里呢？
大将军
在整个圈的东北部。
一切啊都在微博的掌控之中。
哇，导师，这一个雷是应该是一波失误啊，自己解决了自己。
Do you think they should add left-handed FPP in PUBG? No, I don't think so. Because I would change the way the game works. Because right hand always has the advantage, and so everybody plays in a certain way to do right-handed peeks or right-handed pushes.
啊，那在圈子这边，你看小智已经被 TC 解决掉了，
这个点已经被拔了。
而天霸这里也是慢慢的，可能在 TC 在组织进攻。
天霸这里有一点点众矢之的啊，待会儿一旦打起架来，很多方面的
Weibo straight chilling. Weibo has the entire north side of the zone for themselves.
1楼2楼之间运营多次了。
而且啊，我们看到的是 TC 这里布局很大很大，
是直接是想要突进啊，而且天霸这个地方。
I still can't get over the fact that how aggressively the Chinese teams play. There's not many people in the last few circles because so many of them are dead. I feel like that's almost maybe a disadvantage for the Chinese teams. Because in the global tournament, there's going to be way more teams alive because other teams aren't as aggressive. But every time China has played with other regions, they do the best out of all the regions still. So it's just interesting to see.
哇，这个圈型微博控的非常大，把这个圈的西北部已经拿在了手里。
那这样的话 ，TC 是直接加快了自己进攻节奏。如果说再不跟 NV 腾讯视频打的话，那背后微博恐怕就要过来捅一刀了。
没错，微博的明明已经拉到了马路的对过，这里 NV 腾讯视频战队，旁边3个队伍混战在了一起。
天霸也过来了，伞兵在这个位置是最终交代给了出身逍遥，而神森森。 想要从头顶往自己的脚下发射出一道爱心光线，但是没有想到自己的背后还有老干爹的众人。
So many third parties right here.
而且还有微博的一个在后面啊，明明
So many third parties.
不知不觉中啊，我们这个战场的主角一直都是 TC 和 NV 腾讯视频战队。
That was 4 teams fighting right there. Now there's only 1 team left.
在圈内所处的领域真的是极为恐怖。
I think teams play way more aggressive too, especially today and tomorrow because it's just the weekly eliminations. Like what? Oh my god!
反杀了 Z9这个位置。 我觉得可能他也没有想到。
Who's Zijo? I must be the sub player. Because we didn't see. Wait. I just woke up. I might be completely wrong. But is Zijo the main lineup player? I don't recall his name in the finals last week. I might just be completely wrong though. Thanks for the follow, Sam Yog. The kill fee hiding something that is going to hold global teams back, I tell ya. Yeah, I never liked that change. I think that was a really stupid change. Yeah, Zijo is a starter? Okay. I think one thing about Weibo Gaming is that I don't really remember each of the players' names because all the players on the team do so well because they have really good teamwork together. The one player that stands out on Zijo would be Mingsker though. Mingsker does some clutch plays. But when Weibo Gaming's doing well, everybody's doing well on the team because they play more together as a team than individual play. Zijo's the entry fragger.
带圈的都要完成自己手里这一波架再说。
苏 K 刚刚拉下来是直接被北开连打带捕。明斯哥在原点还是想用摔
Oh, he doesn't hit
双队友
those.
下枪。
但是北家这里的血量非常残哦，一摸直接是倒了。
连续2个瞬狙，溜了。
看明明能不能现在还好有载具啊，
Oh, he did his best to try and
赶紧
support
去
that.
抢一个位置先待一下，比如说马路旁边的小斜坡。
自己最熟悉的位置，没想到竟然是决赛圈。而且我觉得其实就是刚才那个圈形的时候，像这就没有想到。
Yes, we have 9 people alive.
想要往下面找到一个支点。
那也是观察到了嘛。
对于 TMG 来说，清掉了自己墓地里面的琴酒和 ACT 之后呢
I'm surprised TMG didn't third party that. I think TMG was busy finishing off a player that was camping in the church area though.
而且看到猫猫的蹦子起速有点慢，应该是掉过胎的。
Do they usually follow the kill feed before third party? Yes. And Chinese players can read the kill feed like perfectly. Like they can keep track of it almost perfectly. Throughout a game, they'll know exactly how many players are live on each team. And they pretty much know where every team is, just based off like research and following rotations. Or studying rotations. So that's why they can third party so easily too.
阿杰自己选择过去排人，但是阿杰这个要当心啊，这一波 battle 的话，很有可能连打带补的，无论是谁对谁。
这个平原太平了。
Looks like Weibo Gaming is gonna make it into the finals.
但是明斯哥好像没有感到这个阿杰拉到他身后的一个想法。
明斯哥一个反跳是进到了蓝圈里面，这里是有可能打分不给分啊。好，站起来反打一手。
还是在排。
Oh, he tried to deny the point.
那正面战场其实还是留给了 TMG 和老干爹，圈形往东北一
Hey, Toilet. Mingsker really went to loot.
但是这里呢，猫猫放倒了雷仔，而雷仔那个位置已经来到了圈的最边上。
是，等于说把他们一个在白圈外面的枪线给放倒了。
小帅在大马路上驰骋，开着一辆大巴，车速虽然说非常的快，但是自己的队友呢没有任何的枪线能够支援自己。
是 TMG 这里已经拿到了白圈比较靠中心的位置。
LGD could win this, just because LGD is LGD. Like it's very unlikely they win this though, but.
对于锁骨和猫猫来说，无疑是一个最大的喜讯啊！
没错，那这个锁骨现在就是在看这个位置，他不断的向爱笑进行输出。
两边都是。
Oh!
猫猫是补掉了雷子。
Oh no, okay, he finished the knock. Okay, I thought they got another knock. Still a 2v3. And LGD, that player isn't in zone.
是，而且头甲状况也还可以。锁骨拉到了这。
What's the player of TMG doing in the back? He should have been at a position to shoot that right there.
猫猫是直接想要往马路上面跑吗？锁骨这个位置被爱笑发现了，来回左右腾挪。
Oh.
稍微马了一下，但是猫猫已经贴到了阿杰和小帅的近点啊。
10000个烟已经封起来了，贴到了阿杰的脸上。
Oh my God, TMG's throwing. Okay, never mind. Oh, 1v1! Oh, what a beautiful shot by LGD. Is he gonna go for the revive? He's gonna go for the revive. This guy's gonna push immediately though. It's gonna be a 1v2. No, it's a 1v1. Oh my God, LGD won this.
这年轻人，这太自信了，
太自信了，太帅了！最后这一波。
猫猫过马路那里大多。
Yeah, I don't know why Chung Si wasn't playing.
但是老哥天就是向我们证明，我的草原，我的马，我想杂耍就杂耍。
LGD is just a better team. I was saying it. LGD could win this just because it's LGD. Holy shit, dude! I can't believe they won that.
啊，是。
演我。
来看一下现在的排名情况啊，第6到15名分别是 RNG、秦九、Showtime、TC、天百。
How did they lose that? Because it's LGD. What team was that? I don't think that's a very strong team. TMG? Yeah, TMG is not a... TMG should have third-partied LGD too earlier. Like, let me see what the map was looking like for TMG. So I think TMG was busy fighting ACT actually.
我觉得毕竟扫。
还是被阿杰拿。也是来。
Oh yeah, TMG was busy fighting ACT, so they didn't third party this. Never mind. Never mind. Yeah, TMG was fighting ACT. They killed ACT, and then they had to deal with this snake.
一个在白圈外面的枪线给抛倒了。
小帅。
而且还拥有一个高达3.5的场均排名，老干爹紧随其后，6个场均淘汰。
TMG is neither good nor bad. They are just there. They're like okay.
但是这个场均排名有一点点被他的第一局往下拉了一下。
Do you feel the same pressure when you play online and LAN? It's weird. I actually feel more pressure playing online. I think at LAN, I'm just so much more excited to be at a LAN that I don't feel as nervous.
在决赛圈前3名出现的。
风险与收益并存嘛。
对，也就是其实你像。
But I've been competing for so long, I don't feel nervous at all in general.
人抓住了机会打倒，而且还补掉了，所以说。
TMG is a mid-table team. Got it.
当然也是因为大家现在彼此非常了解啊，到了决赛圈，每个人喜欢怎么样的布局，怎么样的打法，大家心里都有数。可能看到你前面一个人，就能够推算出你是来自哪一个队伍。
这个锁骨啊。抓紧严查。
So PMPL SEA, what time does that start?
刚刚翻装出来把linner打倒那波，我觉得这个其实打倒人，打倒人其实是很正常的，但是那么远的距离红点，而且我觉得他应该是没有马几枪的。
对，
足以看出来。
PMPL SEA.
是啊，这一波确实是给我们
Thai Championships. Oh, that starts 1 hour earlier than PEL. Oh, do I watch PEL or PMPL?
很考验一个战队的枪线功底啊，游戏理解和地图理解。虽然说
What?
像刚才像
I hear Saku talking in the background.
TC 也好，还是天霸也好，还是 NV 腾讯视频战队也好，他们是根据圈型所导致的那个结果，没有办法，周围的队伍太多了，所以说才被劝成那样。
是
如果说换到城区里面的话。过点很长，就不一定。
I see 2 people say PEL, PMPL.
没化妆的时候啊，人数还比较多，大概3到
5 that's gonna be hard.
人。但是可以看到像这样的野外战斗，到了最后真的就是一个2队之间1v1的。
I think tomorrow we will 100% watch PMPL because it's not a weekly final tomorrow for PEL.
对，那这个我们用胜利时刻回顾一下上一局吧。
Saturday and Sunday, I don't know. Tomorrow we're definitely watching PMPL though. Yeah, PEL's every day and every month. That is true. I think we watch PMPL. Yeah, it is the finals for PMPL. Yeah, I think we'll watch PMPL. Switch between matches. I'll probably switch back and forth, but we'll mainly watch PMPL. Ayo. Dude, that guy got fucking... That guy got destroyed. That was a good one for LGD. That was a good one for LGD. That was a tough win. Support the homie RSG Kim. Yo, yeah, RSG Kim is playing. True, that is true. After watching PEL, other regions are boring. Yeah.
好，来看一下现在的淘汰榜情况。那个蓝人
China's just too good.
淘汰位居第1， 花痴6个淘汰位居第2，锁骨5个淘汰，阿杰5个淘汰，刁稳健刁哥是5个淘汰。
是的。
那可以计算一下，花痴离现在自己的小目标应该是差3个了。
是的，还差3个人头军。
What's UB? You mean 牛皮? 牛皮 means nice in Chinese, basically. When they say 牛皮, it means more like OP, but it's pretty much the same as how other regions say nice, you know, like nice after they win a fight or something.
对倒人之后，然后拉到这边又强行对倒，没有想到。
确实是没有想到，我们这个赛后可以。
What about your analysis video on PMGC, which you did not do? I was never gonna do analysis video on PMGC. Or was I? I said I was gonna analyze PMPL, but I just never got around to it.
听说刚刚在场上有人说你头发丑，
是北斋说的。
然后你怎么回应他的？我觉得你要跟我们的小伙伴们说一下。
就当时其实就很愤怒，然后就说我今天要杀20个，
今天要打20个，而且刚刚我们看到淘汰榜，前2局结束以后已经是打倒了8个，也就是说还剩12个。你别说啊，这个频率来，今天是很有可能突破20个的啊。
看看吧，看看有没有机会。
哎，对，不过在第1局拿到了
He's saying he's gonna go for 20 kills.
MVP 会不会觉得有点小小的愧疚？因为第1局似乎出现了一些比较戏剧性的画面。
是，就是最后那波决赛圈的时候嘛，就是把烟拿错了。
I uploaded one video on PMGC.
给北斋烧死了。
Oh, I do remember. Yeah. I'm just really bad at doing videos. I need to start doing more YouTube videos. I remember, yeah, I did an analysis video. Can you do analysis of some PEL strategies you find different?
因为那时候就队里出现了一个就挺乱的，然后就出了点意外，然后他俩搁那赛后互夸。
啊，对，似乎就是因为这个。
It's hard to analyze PEL to compare it to. I'll just keep this play.
拉人的事情，你们的整个的站位都是特别夸张的。快到决赛圈的时候。
But so like PEL is. It's kind of hard to see the Chinese team's strategy in PEL, other than the fact that they just play very aggressive and are very confident in third partying. Like the PEL meta is like 100. It's so different than every other region, because if you have 15 Chinese teams playing, like they all play so different from every other region that it looks like a completely different game almost, right? But when we watch PEI, when we had 4 Chinese teams and the other regions were invited for PEI, it was very obvious the Chinese strategy and what they did compared to other teams. And the rotations for PEI is different because the circles work differently. The circles don't shift, or the circles don't shrink as much in the Chinese version of the game. Like in the global version of the game, the circles shrink a lot more.
己的家成华镇在这个点身前区发育一会儿，跟着圈他们的打法本来就是一个慢动，最后等着圈形往前进。但是值得注意的是，其实他们的速度是跟微博是比较相似的。来到了西福村这个点以后，直接是圈形刷新提速来到上面的一个野区，踩住这个野区以后，整体就在这边观察周围的视野，拿到视野以后呢，就在这个位置。 等新的圈形刷新，与此同时，
哦，That's so cool。
周围的队伍去选择一个卡边，当把周围的队伍卡边卡完以后呢，新的圈形也是刷新，直接是选择进圈往墓地进圈，因为圈形是往墓地那边还在靠，这个时候进圈其实遭遇到了一定的阻力，就是微博战队，他们在圈形的南部发生了一些交火，而这个位置是老干爹直接是赶走了他们。 并且是控住了整体圈形以南边，导致微博的剩下的独狼和京东打起来。最后的是老干爹拉开枪线，去控住了整体的南部以及西部地区，去对 TMG 进行一个整体的包夹。
好，那想问一下新东风，你觉得在今天这个战况上，总体来看，今天这个刷圈路线对哪个战队来说是占优势？
I wish we had that. We had the ability to do that on stream for analysis.
与此同时，跟随进圈路线图一起出现的还有我们 PEL 和平精英职业联赛的战队队服，大家可以看到屏幕左下角。各位特种兵们，快去游戏中试穿喜欢的战队队服吧！
对，赶紧 pick 你喜欢的战队，然后在游戏中。
What do you think about Bacon Time? I don't know what that is.
那么接下来，让我们一起来看一下今天的战队时事人气排行榜。
Explain. He was just saying how he was just talking about the last 3 teams. He was saying how.
恭喜3位战队。
好，
接下来我们一起来看。
He was saying how both Weibo and LGD controlled the edge. Weibo Gaming controlled the north side, LGD controlled the south side, and how they both use similar strategies where they take a good position on the edge on one side and then clean out the rest of their side of the map. Like Weibo cleaned out the north by holding a certain edge position. Like here, Weibo Gaming held the north edge and had a really good defense set up and cleared out the north. And LGD held the south side edge, and they picked a strong position to clear out the south side of all the enemy teams on the south. Bacon Time is the old lineup of... Oh, Bacon Time's the old lineup of RAQ Athena. Oh, okay. Ernie, Senior, D2E, Beard 11. That's a really strong team. RQ, but no G9. I see. Oh, that was such a nasty shot right there, dude. You know what that last TMG player should have done? So, right when his teammate got knocked in the back, right? So right here, I've talked about this before, but one really good way to become a better player, right? There's like there's two different, basically almost two different ways of playing the game while you're playing. So if you're playing in scrims, if you're playing in a tournament, this applies for everything. But here's probably one of the most advanced simple tips that will make you a way better player if you can manage to do it. So whenever you're playing the game, there's two ways of playing. One way is how most players play, which is what I call reactionary. They just react to the enemy's movements or what the enemy might do. So like here, the TMG player just reacted to this player pushing him and he lost, right? One way he could have played this is, instead of reactionary, play predictive. Predictive means you predict in your mind what the enemy player is going to do before it even happens. And you think and play around what the enemy will do instead of just playing based on what the enemy did do. So if you play reactionary, you're just reacting to what the enemy is doing at that moment, and you try and win the fight or whatever the case may be. But if you play predictive, before the enemy even does something, you predict what the enemy will do, and when you know and think about what the enemy will do, you put yourself in a position to counter that. So here, it's safe to assume that this LGD player will 100% push, because if he doesn't push, this player gets a free revive. And so this TMG player should know, like, okay, this LGD guy's 100% going to push me. I do not have time to go for this revive. So what he could have done is he and his teammate could hide behind cover. And then when this player pushes over into the open, he could time the peek to peek out at the LGD player to kill him. So here, and this is just one way of doing it. I'm not saying like TMG messed up here because he didn't do this, but this LGD player is 100% going to push, and because you know he's going to push, this TMG player could just, you know, crawl behind a rock maybe, or just stay down here. This TMG player, maybe he can't crawl too fast, so he could stay down here, and the TMG player that's up, instead of going for the revive and staying out in the open, he has two options. This guy can move up to this ridge line and get a better position to defend the push, because right now he's at a disadvantage. He's further down the ridge line, so this LGD player has a slight advantage on him. Or he could predict the enemy will push, and he could go hide behind this rock, or hide behind this rock, and then peek out when he hears a player running over in the open. Or he could predict in his head the timing of when this LGD player is going to be running up in the open, and then he could use one of these rocks. So timing wise, right when this happens, right when his teammate goes down, he could predict that push and he'd go behind a rock. But instead, he went for the revive, and then obviously that LGD player was going to push. Let's watch it in real time to see. So in real time,
来回左右腾挪，稍微码了一下，但是猫你的脸上这边发现了，连打带补。老格林猫猫这里非常自信，掰掉了一个过后。
Okay, so his teammate's knocked. Here he should go for the revive because he has a support player in the back.
自己也被爱笑和小克的枪线带走。
He gets knocked. All right, you can't go for the revive now. This player is 100% gonna push. He can go for the revive if they revive in a safe position, like behind a rock. Or he could revive if he's closer to the ridge line in a better position to defend.
这里好像现在是一个1v1的 battle， 锁骨。1v1， 锁骨这里不太着急，可以打一下药。而
See, he's going for a revive, and he's going for a revive in a bad position. And the difference in positioning is like so small, but it's so important. So reviving, so he's reviving here, reviving there. Let's just say the LGD player is over here, right? On the other side of the red. Okay, reviving on the red dot is not good. But if he were to just revive here on the yellow dot, it's better. Because he has that small ridge. And I know it's not TPP, but even in FPP, it's better to be closer to a ridge line than further away in the open. Because if you're further away in the open,
浮起来之后要看一下状态怎么样。
So here, you can see he's not near this area. If he was closer to this area, the second that player pushes onto the road, he can see him. But instead, he can't see him. And let's just look at the POV difference.
样了，已经来直接干拉跟小帅的 battle。起来之后要看一下状态怎么样了，已经来不及。直接干拉跟小帅的 battle， 最终是老干爹拿下了这场比赛，让我们恭喜老干爹。
The best thing to do though was to use the rock, to use the cover. So right when his teammate got knocked,
这里好像现在是一个1v1的 battle， 锁骨。
he should have went behind the rock for the revive, or he can predict that the enemy will push and bait his knock player and peek out behind cover the second he goes for the thirst.
可以打一下药，而阿杰那里也是可以扶起来的。扶起来之后要看一下状态怎么样了，已经来不及。直接干拉跟小帅的 battle， 最终是老干爹。
Also, the UMP beat them to 4-9. That's crazy. UMP OP.
有所发挥啊！那目前来看的话，在今天比赛开打之前 ，WYY 是拿到了688个淘汰，也是他。
But the main thing I was trying to point out is predictive play versus reactionary play, right? If he predicted this enemy was going to push into the open to try and kill them, he can, instead of going for the revive, which he should know he didn't have time to do, he can, you know, go behind one of the rocks and predict the push. So if you play the game, that's one way to improve a lot. Because if you're constantly thinking about what the enemy will do, you're able to think about, okay, what should I do to get an advantage on the enemy? So that way you're always going to play in a way where you try and get the advantage. Whereas if you play reactionary, you might have the advantage if you play correctly, right? But you might also not get the advantage because you're just playing reactionary. Eventually, once you get so good at the game, your reactionary plays become more predictive. If that makes sense. Because if you're constantly thinking about how to outplay your opponent, that becomes, slowly over time, a lot of decisions you make become with that in mind, like reactionary.
2号营地这真不好打，而且最开始敌地还有一个1传头，王子没有顶住，王子倒了。阿兰今天发挥神勇啊！一场比赛就完成了1传3，那这场比赛率先打开突破口。其实天霸战队的想法是非常不错的，但 TC 的应对实在是太完美了。我们看看这边魏无羡强行顶。
Damn, TC's controlling this fight so heavily.
因为是一个低点的位置，想要对2楼造成一些伤害，也没有任何的办法。现在天霸大势已去，除非有天降猛男来看申森森。
Oh, they got one knock.
找机会想补，但是补了一半发现对手的。
Oh, they got two. Oh, they're about to 2v4 this. Never mind. Oh, they almost 2v4 that.
这一波作战对于天霸来说是一个非常大的打击。首先说天霸的分数，2场比赛结束之后10分并不低啊，是有机会争夺前5的。第二点
Can you read their names in Chinese? No, my Chinese isn't good enough. I can't read Chinese. I can read like maybe like 20 or 30 characters in Chinese, but that's about it. And Chinese has like a lot of characters. Like a lot.
可能会绕圈的 SMG 和 JD 骁龙战队。
其实最关键的是，在这张地图落地打赢了，这些战队根本什么都不怕。对，我手感火热。最关键的是，人家落地揉点这么小的一个2号营地，打完1个人都没有掉。
当时我看到神森森想要补人，补了一半之后发现，哇 ，TC 战队的补枪以及支援来的。
Oh, it's one of these circles.
这个落地揉点啊是
Yeah.
你说我在这边防守的时候，我以少打多，我是不是要去2楼？这个没问题吧？但是只要你来到了我的近点，你到了2楼，我1楼补强的人就没有办法给到1点帮助。
没错。
所以这样的一个弱点啊，不知道在未来天霸会不会继续的选择在2号营地和 TT 硬刚一波。
再来看一下天堂度假村这边的情况 ，RNG 居然是主动弃守天堂度假村，因为他们在这里吃亏吃的实在是太多。与其说被围在天堂度假村里面，不如主动出击。哦。和队友的一波穿2之后呢，自己也倒地了。
残血。
哦。
用了一个小角度，一个趴射。
Oh my god. That push actually worked for SMG? Oh, they're getting third-partied right now. They're about to get third-partied. It's 2 points per kill right now, so you know these teams, when they hear those gunshots, they want those two kills, or 2 points per kill.
RNG 倒掉2个人之后想要收分，听到右上角的枪声，亲友打了人就跑，星辰应该不会再追了吧？
现在来看的话 ，RNG 2打4的情况之下，除非远点加强的小智起到奇效，要不然的话，星辰是想撤也比较困难。
最为关键的是在天堂度假村南边打架，这等于是在这个安全区的边缘作战。那这个点位的更南边的战队会不会过来摸一下？
更南边现在上帝视角来看的话，只有 NV 腾讯这边。
Oh, this is a trap by LGD. LGD knows how Weibo Gaming lands. That's why they're fighting here. I don't know. I don't know about that. But
但是这一波的操作啊，也是给自己正面团战是吸引了很多注意力。
哦，明皇正面没有。
哦。
正是因为锁骨的这波输出啊，这个吸引给到他正面的一个枪线的机会。
Weibo Gaming 再一次祭出了兄弟们决赛圈建的一个战术，但是呢，这一波啊有点拖大，毕竟面对的是 LGD 啊。
Damn, dude.
大家注意一下目前的积分板，微博32分排名第1，LGD 27分排名第2。
而且这类的作战对于 TCA 的战队来说的话，也是一个非常好的消息，因为毕竟
See, okay, so this is one thing that global teams do not do. Global teams don't do this, but that's also because kill points aren't worth two points in the early stages. If kill points were worth 2 points per kill in the early stages of game, maybe we might see global teams do this more. After this fight, I'll show you why this is 100% a planned attack by LGD. Because first off, the circle is very far in the north, and where LGD dropped and Weibo Gaming dropped, there's no reason for either team to fight each other if they both just wanted to go to circle. But because the circle's so far away, and LGD doesn't have... Oh, what the... Oh my gosh. Oh my. Okay, I don't know if we're gonna get to go back. There's just so much action going on right now. On this season of Whale Wars. Okay, well, I mean, okay. So pause. You see where LGD is? LGD is all the way down here fighting ELG. So LGD knows there's no reason for them to rush into circle, because they're not going to get the circle in the next few. They're going to have to fight teams either way. So they know how Weibo Gaming drops, right? And they know they could get maybe a quick advantage on them if they take the hilltop and push the way they did. And so that's what they did. And 2 points per kill in the first 2 circles, dude, like it's way better to just take a 4v4, especially if you're the ones being aggressive and you know how to, you know, take advantage of another team. That's 8 points. That's 8 points right there. So I don't think we see. I don't think I've ever seen a global team do that in a global competition, where they just don't go for the circle at all because it's far away, and they look to just fight a team and take advantage of another team's position early on.
STE 能够说成功赢下这一波的话，正中心的位置几乎上没有什么太多的压力了。童家宝没有往这个前顶打，但是这边狗警是击落了一人。是的，这样的话
He almost grenaded his teammate there.
后续的一个选择了。哎呦，墨竹这边的架枪是被山治给找到了机会。 洛丽塔直接被补掉了，童家宝后点要夫人10秒钟的 timing 点又完全的丢失。那这样的话，近点狗警的压力实在太大了，但是他选择了主动向上扑吗
How is STE?
好久没有的双人配合，一前一后，山治正面。
Wait, who pushed who here? Wait, is what? Hold on.
童家宝被他锁定，了解的太。 的情况下，我们会发现，在城区作战，只要你使用了包围这样的一套战术。
TJB pushed STE. Oh, STE started out with only 3 players. Okay.
他锁定后点的人没进来，这等于说完全放。在今天的比赛当中啊，这里如果说 WYY 啊 STE 能够说成功赢下这一波的话，但是这边狗机会。
Okay.
那这样的话，近点狗警的压力实在太大了，但是他选择了主动向上扑吗？这已经是箭在弦上不得不发了。王元和山治好久没有的双人配合，一定的代价。讲童家宝现在想要来蚕食 ST 的防区了，这
Here comes a third party.
但是体坛这波得理不饶人了。
And now TEC is getting third partied by another third party.
突然间对他的测试有300多米的一个。对。
That's a really far shot. That's on the other island that third party's going out from. Zeus did it in PEC? No, Zeus dropped on a team and fought. I don't think Zeus decided not to rotate to set up on a team. Zeus just kind of fought their way towards circle, if that makes sense. Maybe Zeus did do it, but no, dude, it's just non-stop fighting. Oh, what a grenade.
马上球度过河以后，他能够掌握这个安全区里边所有地形上的优势。大全今天在登场之前也是吃了一块小蛋糕啊，这个蛋糕看能不能帮助他拿下这场比赛的机会。只有2人编制，哎呦，大拳拳。
I have the high ground. 4 AM plays tomorrow.
在悬崖的小坡，你只要上来是肯定露头的，所以他的预瞄点持续的都贴在了那个悬崖的角落里面。这就是一个职业选手为什么说他腰射打得那么好啊？因为他预瞄的点位控制得非常的恰当。LGD 和微波 Gaming 之间的大战，虽然我们镜头
Okay, so Zeus, they would rotate their way towards circle, and if there was a fight, they would take it, right? Or Zeus dropped on a weak team and fought early. That's different than what LGD did. LGD just didn't even bother rotating towards the circle at all. They just decided to fight another team that landed on their edge side and ignored rotating to the circle completely. That's what I was saying. That Chinese teams do that global teams don't really do. I've seen global teams take fights early on, rotating towards the circle, but I don't think I've ever seen them ignore the rotation completely and go out of their way to set up on a team to kill them. LGD's getting play zone though for this. Yeah, what Ayush said. I think except for military bridge setups, teams don't like to play out of zone to eliminate someone in other regions. Yeah. This happens when you give Chinese teams Sandhawk. If it were to happen on any map, it would definitely be Sandhawk. Because it's so hard to rotate in Sandhawk. And you have to fight your way in on Sandhawk regardless, like no matter what. There's no real rotations you can do too easily. Cool.
其实我是觉得啊，如果说 TC 战队玩一个闯关游戏，一直闯到 Showtime 的脸上，这场比赛 TC 几乎可以说是板上钉钉了。他要是真能闯过去的话，这场比赛确实能获胜啊。
Let's go, Suki. I'm not sure why Chengxi isn't playing.
原本想架的是大将军，但是没有想到架到了 RNG 的大将。那拿到了这个屁股后面之后 ，LGD 虽然此时此刻不在圈内啊，但是得往前看，你看。
2-point system won't work global because all the best teams don't play. Slots are divided regional wise. Weak teams will be targeted. Weak teams will definitely be targeted. But I wouldn't say the 2-point system won't work. I think smart, confident teams will take advantage of the 2-point system. I think the 2-point system should be in global.
枪声隆隆，完全是自己的枪声。脚步已听到了，看到了维森的大腿了吗？细节，这边细节做的，还有一个吊枪，小将还是年轻了呀。这边维13根本不慌。其实这一波明显可以发现，这个主线啊，作为
I think 2-point system is good competitively, and it's good for entertainment. So competitively, yeah, weak teams will be targeted. But that means if you're a strong team and you have really good 4v4s, that should be something that should be rewarded in the game. So if you're a strong team and you do your research and you know which teams are weak, you take the risk of taking a fight early on and losing players potentially, but you also get 2 points per kill. So I think from a competitive standpoint, that does make the game more competitive. So it's good for competitions, I think, the 2-point system. And then entertainment-wise, it's entertaining to see those aggressive fights early on rather than nothing happening, right, in the first couple minutes of the game. And then also, towards the late game, right, because teams fight earlier on and there's less teams alive in the late game, circle shift RNG won't be as bad. Because if you have a lot of players alive in the late game and the circle hard shifts away from you, you're just screwed. You're dead. But if there aren't as many teams alive in the late game because there's more early game fighting for the 2 points, if the circle hard shifts away from you, you don't have like 4 different teams around you that you have to fight to try and rotate in from. So you don't get screwed because of RNG, right? Because the circle just hard shifted away from you. There's less teams you have to fight because more teams fought early game. And so it makes the game more competitively. It makes the game more competitive late game too, where RNG circle shift doesn't screw you over as much. So that's 2 big reasons why I think the 2-point system is good. You don't get screwed on circle RNG late game as much, even if it hard shifts away from you, because theoretically, more teams are dead on the map. And then if you are a strong fighting team, which should be rewarded, you take advantage of that and target weaker teams early game to get the 2 points per kill. So the 2-point system is each kill is worth 2 points in the first 2 circles. after the first 2 circles are changed, like after the first 2 circle shifts, each kill point is just 1 point. Do you think fisting is disrespectful? I personally don't care, but I know some regions find it disrespectful. But the biggest problem late game with the way the global teams play it is that if you don't get the circle late game and it hard shifts away from you, there is so little you can do. It becomes so difficult, and like most of the times there's nothing you can do late game because there's so many teams alive late game, and you have 3 teams surrounding you that all don't have the circle, and it's just like, and no matter how good of a team you are, there's very little you can do to come out on top in that situation. That's the biggest problem from a competitive standpoint for PUBG on the global stage right now. So you rely more on circle luck. There are some situations, and if you're a really good team, you could set yourself up correctly, right? But that just means only one team can really set themselves correctly for a hard shift to come out on top. All the other teams that are around them will like just kill each other. How's Zuki, bro? Zuki's doing great. Nova from NA, they're confident, but they're not good in 4v4s. You wouldn't ever see a global team do what Q9's doing either. If this was a global team, Q9 would 100% just sit down at the buildings. There's no way a global team will try and run up the side of the hill to third party real quick, like Q9 just tried to do. The ump is really strong in the Chinese version of the game. So in the Chinese version of the game, the ump is like the Tommy gun. Placement points should be reduced on Sandhawk, or just in general. Yeah, I think the point system should be like the way the Chinese do it, and I think the zones should be like the way the Chinese do it. I feel like the Chinese version of the game is just better for entertainment, and it's better for on a competitive standpoint. Because I don't think... Okay, so for a fact, competitive players don't like when there's like 14 teams alive in the last like 7th circle and the circle shifts away from you, or you get, you know, or you just get super lucky and you get the circle late game. But I've been competing for 3 years, and when there's so many teams alive in the late game because nobody fights early on and they're just forced to fight in the late game when the circle hard shifts away from you, it is not fun. And like no matter how good you are as a team, there's nothing you can really do. it becomes a game of chicken almost. If you go first, you're more likely to die. But if you don't push first, or if you don't move first, you'll just die to the zone. But if you move first, the team that doesn't move will shoot you in the back, and they might get some kills on you, but then they're also just stuck out in the blue and then they die. So it like sucks. So from a competitive standpoint, I don't think any competitive players really like that situation. And then from a spectator's point of view, when you have like so many teams alive in the late game, sure, it's like chaos everywhere, which might be fun. But if you're a spectator and you're watching the game, you can't even see all the fights happening at the same time either way. And the casters can only focus on like one fight at a time on the screen, right? So there's no point if there's like 6 different fights going on in the late game, because you can't even watch all of them. And so from a spectator's point of view, there's no reason to have so many teams alive in the late game either. So the competitive players don't like it in the late game when there's so many teams alive, and then Circle RNG screws you, and there's literally nothing you can do at that point. And then spectators don't really like it either because there's so many fights you can't follow the action either way. Plus the camera work is trash. Yeah, and so a good fix for both of those problems is encourage more fighting in the early game, which means increasing the point system to 2 points per kill early game, right? And then you get, you know, competitive teams will like that more, because if you're a strong, confident team, you can take advantage of it. And there's still risk to taking fights early on, because if you lose players early, it really hinders you in doing rotations and doing fights later on in the game, when it becomes more and more important to have more players. And then for the spectators, it's more enjoyable because you can watch fights all throughout the game instead of waiting. And then towards the late game, you don't have 6 different fights going on. You only have like 2 to 3. So you can follow all the fights as a caster, and as a spectator, you can follow all the fights happening in the late game too. And because there's less teams in the late game, you're not forced to just heal strat, right? And you don't just die to the play zone, because team A to your left and team B to your right, you know, doesn't want to move. Because if one of them moves first, they die. They get shot in the back or they get shot in the side. And so they don't decide to move. That means you can't really move because the circle hard shifted away from you. And there's just too many teams around you because nobody fights early game. So it makes it, there's just so many problems when it's like that. So the circles should be changed a little bit to be more like PEL, where the circles don't shrink as much. Because the biggest problem, I think, with the circles is that in the global version of the game, the circle shrinks way too much on the shift. So when the circle shrinks that much, there's just too much. You can't really fight into the next circle because the circle just shrinks too much. I've talked about it before on the stream. But I'll show you guys what I'm talking about real quick. So for example, let's say this is one circle, and then the global version of the game, the circle will shrink to like this, right? It'll shrink a lot. And then all of a sudden, all these teams on the edge needs to fight their way in. And it just becomes all out chaos. you can't really follow the fight. There's just too much going on. And the worst part is, whichever player decides to leave the slowest, right? For example, let's say blue team goes and makes the move first. Pink team decides to go very late. Pink team goes late to the point where they just die in the blue, right? So blue team is like, okay, we don't want to die in the blue. We'll go first. So then the pink team shoots the blue team in the back. And then by the time pink team is done fighting blue team, because blue team is forced to fight pink team, the circle's already closed. And then pink team just dies in the blue zone. And then blue team's also dead because they were shot in the back because they decided to move first to try and get into the circle. So when the circle shrinks that much, that it becomes a huge problem, right? In the Chinese version of the game, the circle doesn't shrink as much. So same circle, right? But if the circle were to hard shift to the north, it would look more like this, right? The circles don't shrink as much on the Chinese version of the game. So when the circle's like this, you could take isolated fights more. You can move and fight your way into the circle, like little by little, and you're not forced to just try and go super far to go into the circle and then get screwed by a team shooting in your back. Alright, when the circle shifts like this is still a hard shift, right? It's touching the edge of the zone over here. It's a hard shift to the north, but the circles don't shrink as much. So you could, like, you know, let's go back to that example again with the pink team and the blue team, right? You could move one player up a little bit, set up cover to cover the enemies here. Pink team can do the same as they're trying to go in. They, you know, have person covering and they're fighting their way in. And they just keep moving up little by little using cover and teamwork to try and fight each other on the way in. And it's a much better fight that way. And nobody just gets screwed. And both teams don't just die. But the better team at, you know, working the positions will come out on top here. Whereas, once again, in the global version, when the circle hard shifts to the north, it's like that big. And so it's just like having to fight your way in like this amount of distance is just, it's not very competitive because teams just get screwed no matter what they do. Almost because of circle RNG. And then it's not fun to watch either because you have so much teams dying everywhere trying to move their way in. And you can't even follow all the different fights. It's not fun for the spectators. It's not fun for the competitive players. I'm pretty sure people have made the argument I have made to like Tencent too. I don't think the game's ever going to be changed though. I don't think they're going to change the circle settings on global. Maybe they might. It might change. The only reason why it would change, though, is if all the viewers, all the spectators want the change. It doesn't matter if the competitive players want the change. At the end of the day, it's all about entertainment, right? If more people watch the game, because more people like the circles that the Chinese version has, then it might change. If more viewers want the circle to be more like the Chinese version of the game, and more people will watch because it's like the Chinese version of the game, it's more fun for the spectators because you can watch all the fights, you can keep up with all the fights, then it might change. But otherwise, it won't change. I think even in the PC version, the circles don't shift as much, or the circles don't shrink as much. What's the tournament happening right now? What's the PC tournament happening right now for North America? What's it called? I'll just look at PGI. Let's look at the PC version. Wait, is it called PGI? PGI PUBG. Yeah.
Anyone who knows 911 did leave the team.
Look at the state of interest.
Okay, let's look at this circle shift. Let's see how much it shrinks.
Just one man alive, and now plenty of.
Okay, yeah, the PC version of the game, it doesn't shrink as much either. I feel like the global version of the game shrinks a lot more. Okay, game hasn't started yet.
They can squeeze in before they get into the finals.
Yeah. And it looks like also Xanax bullet catching. Okay.
Look like keep him. Gonna lose a few more.
Okay, so this is.
So if he doesn't able,
Okay, so this is from.
Back is one person covers each other while leaving.
Okay, so this is from circle 4 to 5 right here.
That back while pushing. Well, this is
and you can just see.
Okay, this is a hard shift. Circle 4 to 5.
Threat. On this one, gonna.
Okay, phase 3, right?
Now he
said he.
Okay, so this is circle 4 to 5. So the longest distance is from here to... That's the biggest distance on the hard shift. See, phase 4. You see it right here? It says phase 4. Right here, phase 4, right? And this...
Is that make it in time? And the way far away from his team.
This is also phase 4.
See, I mean, and we did get.
Look, see? Phase 4, right? Okay. So these are both phase 4s.
What? Oh no, cover.
You see, Mizex is just.
Okay, the difference. This circle shrink is that long. This circle shrink on the hard shift is
each other little by little to get out of this situation.
Wait, why is this not working?
Bounding, right?
Be able to get.
Okay. Okay, this circle hard shift. Yeah, that's a way bigger shrink. The edge is touching here. The edge is touching here. But the shrink is way bigger, it looks like. Yeah, it's definitely... The shrink size is way bigger. If this was the PC version or the Chinese version, the circle should be like... It should be like that. It's not the hard shifts that's the problem. Hard shifts don't happen all the time. Hard shifts wouldn't be a problem if the circle didn't shrink so much on each shift. The shrinking size of the circle is the problem. The circle shrinks way too much. That's the problem. Because, like, look, in the PC version, this is a hard shift. But if the circle doesn't shrink as much, it's not that big. It's not that much of a problem. Like the Chinese version, it hard shifts all the time in the Chinese version of the game. Where the next circle touches the edge of the previous circle. But it's not that bad because the circle doesn't shrink as much.
这个风险那么大呀！你看矿场这 P 岗这基阵咱不能挑吗？对吧？对于 ST 来说，其实对于 Y 城来讲
In PNPL SA Finals, Skylights Gaming Leon's team made a setup to eliminate Zeus out of the zone in the last match tournament so that DRS could win the tournament. Oh.
我们回想一下，在上一场比赛落地。
Yeah, I heard that Zeus got targeted so that they didn't win. Sucks for Zeus, but I mean they're a good fucking team. So.
其实这种偏行也好，这种运营速度和这种距离都已经是根植在他们的 DNA 当中的。
Sorry.
他们根本不怕，这不跑啊。
I was gonna mute my mic so you didn't have to hear me sneeze, but those sneezes came out of nowhere.
雕哥的冥想的次数啊，远比之前要多。目前在分数上28分的 TEC 应该是对得起雕哥的这个冥想。
是的，
还不错，而且能够保证他们明天不加班嘛。
Yes, tomorrow we will watch PNPL Southeast Asia.
6.1胜利场0次，所以我说 M 城不吉利啊。
这样的一个数据，我觉得对于天霸来说绝对是不匹配的。
兄弟，你知道 M 城的谐音是什么吗？
是什么城？
梅城。
那你为什么要指着我说呢？
倒霉的霉啊，不是阿梅的梅。
哎，看看这边，雕哥的冥想是有所准备的，明显知道这个水城肯定是有人的，驾车而来，想要来堵。
Power Boy 看到对方过车了之后，马上扶一颗自保烟，还好自己的队友马上赶到了，所以说这一波 Power Boy 可以和自己队友完成一波前后夹击。
夹击了，赤木这边被扫射了一波，躲在了这个城内。其实 NV 腾讯是和体坛在海雨林地图就已经
Para Boy， 哦 Para Boy，
误当中被 Power Boy 直接是斩落马下啊！
是的，在没有看到目标的情况下，一顿腰射。 正面这边
Oh, dude, TEC's getting destroyed.
现在是一个2打1，居民没有夫人，
微笑切入战场，
看看老辣的居民会不会成为微笑的背景板。微笑一直在骚，一直在躲。
他的这个位置一旦被锁定了啊，
阿洛波也回防，
很难有操作空间，很难有操作空间。他最大的一个胜利可能就是能把欧者给补掉，但是很遗憾他没有补掉。
Damn, dude.
说完 TEC 28分，明天可
So TEC got completely destroyed, but the mistake they made was so small.
对于这个工作日还是看得比较重的。明天是周五嘛，必须得上班。
And the small adjustment by Paraboy, like, literally won them that fight too.
是周五必须得上班。
Okay. I want to break down that fight really quickly.
28分，明天可能
Because it's not as one-sided as it looks. So right off the bat, there's one player here. TEC knows this is probably a split defense, right? So what they want to do is they want to take the strong position here. Because the problem is, okay, look, TEC could take control of all of this, sure. But then the strong defending position here in my red circle, the enemy team will quickly go here to help defend Paraboy. And then that makes the push, it makes the push more difficult down. And TEC is looking for kills and they want to wipe out this team. So what TEC decides to do very quickly is, this is a split defense. There's probably only one player here because TEC moved very quickly. So most likely this defending team is split and they're not even ready, which is true because you see only 2 players here. So what they decide to do is they leave 1 or 2 players at the top to pressure this player, and then the rest of the team is going to go straight in and take over the strong position now before the rest of the team can arrive, which is good. I think that's a very smart, fast-paced action play. So see, they send 1 person down real quickly to cover this mini push into here. They take this big building. It's the strong position. This person's covering. And then this last player, technically, once this is all set up, Paraboy is dead, right? They have so many angles onto him. But Paraboy places a really good smoke, and Paraboy lights up 1 player. Nova reacts so quickly. And then Paraboy is just better. He wins this 1v1 here. Also, the smoke Paraboy throws down right here is so good because none of the enemy players could see him, and he could take a 1v1. So like this, there's so much that went into this fight. Like TEC played it very well in my opinion. Like their idea and their decision making was good, but Nova just like with a really small adjustment by Paraboy and a really quick reaction by Nova, and then they just win the gunfights too. This also came down to who can win their gunfight. Like all of this happened in a matter of seconds. So if Nova was a global team and not a top tier Chinese team, what TEC just did will work against like 90% of global teams. TEC would absolutely destroy a global team or get 2 kills very quickly, and the other 2 players don't even react in time to come help. So what TEC did was good. But Nova just reacted really well, and then they just won their gunfights. Yeah, I don't think we missed any fights yet. It's just that 1 fight. Oh, hold on. Let's listen into the comms. Oh, what a good angle by E.
果然每一个指挥啊，说的最多的可能不是指挥，就是别着急，别吵。是的。我们先看这一波吧。原本想复盘一下刚刚的那波操作，但是正面的水城再次迎来大战。天霸也不贪枪啊，但是刚好走到了居民的这颗预判雷身上。天霸吃雷啊
Oh no, Jimmy！
真是看到第一视角他是如何吃雷的，这真不怪对面扔得好，自己是接得准呐。
但有一个很大的问题是，现在比赛还没有结束。天霸虽然说倒了神森森，但是居民也被天霸带走。
天霸的有生之敌，这颗雷差一丢丢，我都已经卡在这个2个门。
Dude, that's such difficult nade to throw. Oh my god. He threw that. Okay, it's not that difficult, but that's a pretty good fucking nade. From there right into there.
现在几乎是一个无死角的。
It's definitely not an easy nade.
这全死角，全死角，这不是无死角，这
我要是神森森啊，我干脆改名。
Okay, I'm skipping ahead a little bit. to catch up. I think it's a stalemate though. Yeah, it's a stalemate. Okay, okay, we're 100% caught up now.
水城大家人都这么多的情况下，如果站得太久，我倒是觉得会对于他们接下来的这个出城有些困难。
有一个挺大的问题，什么问题？天霸往北边走，他还有一个假车库可以拿。
那 NV 腾讯视频呢？
他往南边走，面对的是 TMG 还有 STE 的枪线。当然 STE 现在遇到的是 SMG 正面的突袭。
哎呦，这又是一记，两支正面猛男战队。这扣脚这边上车了，他不会是想要直接撞吧？
来了，第三方 LGD 突然间出现在战场之中，不过身后还有枪线 SMG 的 Beautiful 提前卡住了这个位置。
一记4方混战，但是挨打的是 LGD。好了。 虽然是挨了几个重锤，但是没有一个人倒地，那也算得上还不错的转移。
是人是鬼都在秀啊，只有干爹在挨揍。
没关系 ，LGD 老干爹挨揍完了之后，应该是要。
Anybody in the chat know why Chengxi isn't playing?
现在来看的话，就是他通过这一波车
from LGD
就是切入战场，成功吸引了场上所有人。
The $1.8 million player.
关键是这支注意力啊，就很夸张的是，
就别人都不打了，别人都不打了，
这旁边的3支战队都可以打得到他，没有1支战队打不到。但还好，我只是轻轻的骚扰一下，啊，并没有把你的人头收掉。
是的，那东南侧进圈的道路上 ，TMG 和 JD 我遭遇战。
Trying new things.
好像是没有什么太多
LGD is doing pretty well too. They're second place right now.
阿杰来了，阿杰找了个测试，
杰哥没有补体，但是杰哥亲自出手了。
哎呦，阿杰除了雷之外，猛男枪也是很强的。那这个时候 TMG 已经是获得了1个淘汰，想要把这个南边给拿下。
Pampering himself with the $1.8 million.
TMG 的选择非常正确啊！如果想要踩前面的斜坡的话，必须把身后卡干净。JD 骁龙战队一瞬之间融化了。
高点的人呢？
高点融化了呀。
高点的人呢？
融化了。
这4打4一瞬之间被融化 ，TMG 像正面铁板一块的。
The casters are talking about that last fight and was like, wait, where's the player on the high ground covering them?
再来看看圈中心的这一波战斗。
And apparently the player on the high ground got knocked.
很长时间的侵袭。 不管是防具还是
Oh, look at LGD, bro. There's no way they win this fight. Yeah, there's no way. Oh. There's no. Why would they push? I don't know, man. They didn't have to push. Like, LGD wasn't in a really good spot, right? I get that they want to control the area, and they have to kill that team to control them. But there's like, that's such a bad fight. All 4 players have to go through one doorway or one opening. Like, I understand the position that LGD pulled up in doesn't give them much to work with. I get it. But that fight, they had such a low percentage of winning that fight that they shouldn't have taken it. If they like got some nades in and they knocked 1 or 2 players, okay, I'm down for it. Go for it. It's still a really hard push, but go for it. You got 1 or 2 knocks. But they didn't get any knocks. And they had to all go through that little area. LGD threw that. That was a throw by LGD. They shouldn't have done that. They're better than that. They knew they shouldn't have done that. Have I seen Master League at all soon? No, I haven't been watching Master League. Master League is NA and like SA, right? I've seen Coops like be like Coops has been killing it in the Master League. I saw that on his Twitter. How does Weibo Gaming always stay at the center? I don't know, bro.
刻冠以他们一个北部最强，这应该没问题吧？
啊，必须要决出一个北部冠军，但是 TC 战队先撤了。
这是选择了一个奇怪的角度。
Even when Weibo doesn't get the circle, though, they're pretty good at rotating and controlling the circle and fighting their way in.
回撤，看看他的舞步，左一下右两下，左一下右两下，成功的躲避了所有的子弹。
哟 ，TC 这个是早有预谋啊
Knights are doing so good.
还布了一杆枪。
So the Knights picked up Coops. But Coops can't play in PMPL with the Knights because they don't allow roster changes, I'm pretty sure.
在水中直接带走了大真拳，那这样的话 ，Showtime 就不是痛失一臂了。
这是痛失很粗的一臂了，痛失了一个大臂。那在一个
How much different is FPP from TPP? In FPP, you can play more aggressive. It's way easier to play aggressive in FPP. And if you can play more aggressive, that means teams with better teamwork can take advantage of things more easily. And so it makes stronger teams stronger and it makes weaker teams weaker. That's the biggest difference in FPP than TPP. Weaker teams become weaker in FPP and stronger teams become stronger in FPP.
这又是 TT 的一个小细节了。我们注意到 TT 的那台车往水中开，我们是上帝视角，我们知道车里有几个人，这99不知道呀。那这样的一波 TT， 我们看得出来他为什么能够选择田字楼不走，是因为他们早就做好了进圈的准备。
是的，再看 RNG 和 TT 战队分手之后，另觅新欢，找到了秦九战队。
这新欢此时此刻换可是不行换啊！
啊，这只能是一打到底了，已经伤害了秦九战队2次了。
反正刚刚和 RNG 缠绵的 TC 现在是已经成功进圈了。RNG 进不进得去就不知道了。
现在来看的话，只剩下了后点架枪的 RGG 和出大堂。如果说小智和77航这两兄弟要做人做到底的话，那可能就要和秦九战队决一高下了。
看这边啊，最终还是成功拿下了。人多打人少，这是没办法，
没有什么太大的问题。
刚刚我们注意到这个安全区往西边刷，目前 NV 腾讯是平呢。
Every time Jimmy dies, Nova goes
他
off.
们和天霸应该也是和平分手的。你看这和平分手的呀，就是能够各自安好。
什么意思
Yes, it's true, but FPP allowing you to be more aggressive is easier said than done. Yeah, for sure.
任何一次分离呀，总会有一些代价。
For sure.
但是这样的一个代价，只要
Goes 2v4 to team on Miramar.
更好的话，我觉得是没问题的。RNG 现在踩到圈边了，等一个安全区的刷新，应该是可以进到决赛圈。
不过我刚才看到一件非常恐怖的事情，什么是NV 腾讯视频战队本来是在废墟的，你猜下一个镜头他们会在哪？
反正现在废墟是没看到他们，
废墟已经没人了啊！大家注意下一个镜头 ，NV 腾讯视频战队会出现在哪？
先看这边吧，铁板一块 TMG， 刚刚已经吹了这么久了，
这个防守到底是不是
最强之盾？
是不是
最强之矛？
你为什么就不说那4个字？
这个防守还真不好说
啊，确实说不了了。
我们看看 SC 这边已经。
This is how LGD should have pushed into this
一颗
position.
雷直接收掉，而另外一边微博也成功的把 TC 团灭。
现在来看的话，洛丽塔 HP 打起来之后，但是对方枪杆子实在是太多太硬了。
在这个位置 SC 成功的融化了一波之后，第2波却没有守下来。TMG 果然像我们之前所说，只要4。
Will Federal and Kowalski play? No.
来看看 RNG
They're still banned.
好猛啊
They're still banned for like another month.
有4个吗？这是？
有一个先撤退了，
打掉了3个，手握3个淘汰。
They'll be able to play in the next half of the year, though.
RNG 也选择分手了啊，这是缠绵了一会儿之后呢。
Wildcat is playing? Yeah.
RNG 又要找下一队了。RNG 还不放过吗？再看
I mean not Wildcat.
在废墟，应该是扛着蓝圈，突然间来到了 ACT 的西侧。
看看这个点，他们这个点现在只有一件事儿，就是等。当然了，你在等待之余啊，也这个稍微的清理一下周边。
Oh!
泄风烟，
但是这边 RNG 来找 RGG 的过程当中，突然看到了 NV 腾讯视频战队。
Holy shit, Paraboy!
清理掉自己身后的敌人，这是一个好的方式。
但是2个队友急需来他拉一下呀，
拉不了，这没办法，
拉不了。原点还有人架枪 ，Paraboy 应对吗？
没有对过。77航的大盘机，用你最擅长的武器，带12个日子把你带走。
应该没有什么太大的问题，毕竟 RNG 这2个男人已经伤害了3支战队。
Nice try by Nova.
不仅伤害了3支战队啊，同样也伤害了正在。
This man don't miss. For real.
随着这个安全区刷完了之后 ，RNG 对于大家的伤害只会更深。
是的。 现在上帝视角当中可以看到微博跟
Man's hacking, I swear.
熟悉的战术，决赛圈战见。 兄弟们，决赛圈见
Oh my god, fucking Weibo Gaming controlling entire half of the circle again.
这个教堂的位置已经祈祷很久了。对，在安全区即将刷新之余，他们是派出了2名选手拉到了北部的高点，
也是他们的拿手好戏。
是的，但是你要知道，在今天的第2局比赛，正是因为他们一个如此大胆的分战，导致了他们痛失好局。
是的，再来看正面战场。 SMG、TMG 和 ACT 要争出一个高下，但 ACT 现在是主动者 ，ACT 可以选择正面打，也可以选择直线向7去和佟家宝争一个高下。
我觉得现在对于 ACT 来说，不管从哪个方向啊，要啃的都是个硬骨头。
不过我倒是觉得呀，ACT 比这个 TMG 要舒服多了啊，毕竟 TMG
Pair Boys the DP and M16 god.
左右的枪线。
有时候啊，你知道吗？场上20支战队同时出战的15支战队，他们也会有一种惺惺相惜。我常年，对吧？我是第1名，我们是双雄，那我们2个可能会走得更近一些。那对于 ACT 来说，之前的好几个赛季表现都不尽如人意，那么现在他们肯定也会觉得，哦，你 SMG 突然打得这么猛，你 TMG 你 JD 骁龙突然打得这么猛，该到我 ACT 发威的时候了吧？
Oh, good Molly.
所以这一波我看好 ACT， 他们不仅 有一个更好的状态，而且他们还踩着一个高坡。
但是 ACT 要早做决断啊！如果说不赶快突出重围的话，马上蓝圈就过来了。他们也是要吃蓝圈的一方。而 SMG 呢，逐渐的把自己的 Beautiful 还有 Flower C 全部都送到圈里了。
快点要做决定，
比较尴尬，比较尴尬。ACT， 我觉得你不如说真的，你在这里看别人的脸色行事啊，不如自己主动一点。
要主动了，520这个日子真的得主动一些。现在他们小5、小将顶到了最前方，但是那个小平台是会遭到遗迹的输出的。
3支战队当中最先进圈的 SMG 率先倒地1人。
哎，这个伏地很关键，
很关键，但是对方直接爆了头。
Cool, the double knock.
在上场之后是直接秒掉了阿杰和小帅，要强行补吗？动作很快，拿到2分。 再次回撤救济队友。
Remember 这边的补枪是非常的不错 ，ACT 也是顺势来到了正面战场，
但是 ACT 高点的狗子倒地了，这样的一个倒地。
Meanwhile, Weibo Gaming is just picking like up free knocks.
佟家宝也坐不住了，此时此刻佟家宝如果说半路杀出的话，那可能最后的胜者就是佟家宝了。
看看原型正面battle成功，血量更多的他拿到了这个点位之后是没有时间让他进行补给的。
看来这波战斗，佟家宝还没有赶到战场就要结束了。墨竹，看看能不能喝口汤，
没有喝到，这最后一口汤被小布喝掉，
自己还被击倒了。
这是来自明
哦，
哎呦 ，Remember 真的是果断呀 ！ACT 不愧，这波真的打得很猛，但是结果不太好。
我觉得这一波对于 Remember 对于 SMG 来说都是一个好消息。新上场的小将，又像我们刚刚说的，有这样的一个雄心。 对吧？
敢于去打，敢于这波跳墙打出来打，
敢于做这种骚操作。
但是这场比赛
Who gets zone more, Weibo Gaming or C9?
Weibo Gaming 拿下胜利
了。目前我们在人数上看到，场上4支战队。
There's no advantages between qualifying on day 1 versus 2. So day 1, so the 15 teams that played in the finals last weekend play on day 1. So this day 1 lobby is, I guess you could say, more competitive, and only the top 5 move to the weekends from day 1. And then day 2, ooh, nice shots by Z9. Day 2, the 5 teams that don't play on day 1, which is the 5 teams that didn't play in the super weekend basically last week, will play on day 2, and the top 10 from day 2 move into the weekend finals. And the points reset from day 1 to day 2.
圈走了，不和你正面 battle， 哎，圈到了佟家宝的身后，那这样的话，马上佟家宝要变成腹背受敌了，看看能不能第一时间先放到一个机航，小智向着蓝圈之外开出，这一波
刚刚被扶起来了，小智虽然刚刚是义无反顾的把机航扶了起来，但是这一次也是义无反顾的开溜了，
来到了 SMG 的头顶的 SMG 听到车声之后顺势回。
Nice try on that rotation. They only had 2 players, so they were just looking for an open spot.
哎呦，佟家宝这边 4个人强行压到了微博 gaming 的近点，大将军这个时候
Oh,
再想支援
Weibo.
为时已晚啊！是的
What happened there to Weibo? I don't usually see Weibo mess up like that.
现在微博再一次的，因为他们一个大
One of Weibo's biggest strength is late game with 4 players.
但是我觉得这样的操作
They don't try to do too much, and they don't lose players unnecessarily. That's like a mistake that RNG, you would see RNG make, not Weibo.
又掌控信息，又延展枪线。
Weibo's usually really smart about how they use their players late game, and they're really smart about which side to control and how to control it.
和突破做的是更好一些。
就是现在，我感觉微博玩明白了，他已经发现咱们这个比赛，
Yeah.
大将军被打倒了，但是不妨碍我们吹他啊。这他感觉好像这个比赛的赛制他已经玩明白了。我们不是比的某一局比赛谁吃鸡的数量多，
就是他这是一个积分游戏，
我们比的是。 5局比赛打完了之后，谁的积分能？
Hey Advisory, what's up, bro?
谁能够进到前5？那我这样的一个分站，虽然说可能会痛失这一局的好机，但是我分得更散，我获得圈的这个概率就变得更大。
As far as Chinese teams goes, like in general, I think what Weibo Gaming did isn't really a throw, because I've seen other top tier Chinese teams make the same mistake. But for Weibo Gaming, them in particular, they're a team that's really good at late game zone control and prioritization. I wouldn't expect Weibo to make a mistake like that. So for Weibo Gaming, yeah, they threw. But as far as like high-level Chinese play goes, I wouldn't say that's a throw. I see teams kind of mess up or not really play that correctly, even at the Chinese level.
枪线指向这一侧，好像大部分的压力都被 Remember 给吸引了。
Remember 今天的操作也确实值得被这么多敌人给关注啊。
来看一下 Pick Pits 已经绕到
Split end zone's not working for Weibo Gaming. They did same mistake in Miramar. Miramar was a little bit different. Miramar, they were trying to third party a team, and they did manage to pick up some kills. Oh my gosh. The car plays.
人数多的情况下，我的操作就是做的比你多。现在 ，Remember， 记得这位小将在这样的一个斜坡位置痛失了 timing 点，因为时间拖得越久，敌人扶起来的就状态越好。
啊，机会不大了啊！现在自己正面战场上面对的可是维13啊。
正面一波没有任何的机会，维森打掉了花痴，再带你 Remember。
是的啊，恭喜。
Alright, we got one more game left to see who makes top 5. Why do Chinese players use the Scar? They use the M4 over the Scar. If they can't find an M4, they'll use the Scar. The combo is like M4 UMP. That's the main combo that a lot of them use. How do you get noticed by a good team in PUBG? It's just a lot of grinding. You gotta start out just playing lower tier scrims, record your gameplay, because good players can tell if you're good or not from your gameplay. Record your gameplay, so if you try to apply for teams, you can show them your gameplay highlights.
SD 和天霸战队。
说实话，佟家宝要想要成功进入到前5的话，必须再吃一击是稳了，就绝对稳。再吃一击，
你看看，这榜单的第1到第5名，只有 LGD 吃了一只。
Weibo still got 15 points though.
大家都明白了。
那 last game.
如果说吃不到鸡的话，还是以拿分为上。而啊，我预测的这个前5名当中
，LGD threw that though. That was a throw.
在这样的一个
by LGD. SLR or SKS? I would rather use. I say the SLR. I think if you could practice the SLR or the SKS, the SLR, but if you don't really use either gun, take the SKS over the SLR, I think.
对吧？什么意思？两军对垒的过程当中，如果说大家都能建好
The SLR is
520
kind of
是一个
difficult to use.
美好的甜蜜日跟分手没有任何的关系。
哦，是这样的啊，
大家也可以理解一下，
不太了解。
因为屈涛啊，他是一个单身汉啊，这已经好几年了，所以确实对这个节日的理解不够透彻，大家原谅他啊。
回到比赛啊，我是觉得现在
the SLR takes 2 shots to the head to knock anyways. And the SKS, I think it takes...
更好的前程的情况之下，可以选择各自安好，对吧？没有必要说一直。
I think the SKS also takes 2. It's 2 or 3.
赛场上可能这个戏谑调侃比较多，但我们仔细的回想着 NV 腾讯视频在我们俩登场之后的这2局比赛，他们的战略意图非常的明晰。我就是
Is nobody able to beat China in global?
没有必
Nope.
要劝的架，他们根本
Not to take first place.
在刚才的那波战斗当中是神森森
Not to take first place. Teams have beaten like some Chinese, like Tempo Storm beat a Chinese team in PEI last year by like 1 point. Like they barely did beat them. And then Zeus beat a Chinese team in PEI, but no teams have taken first place from China. Every single time a Chinese team has competed, a Chinese team has taken first place.
伞兵封完之后，他让自己的队员全部去冲后点，我来和伞兵掰，我一个人和伞兵 battle 啊，可惜没掰过。
SKS also takes 2 shots. Okay.
好，那这场比赛也是非常的精彩，我们一起来回顾一下胜利时刻。
Am I still grinding or just chilling? I've been chilling for now, but I'm looking for a PMGL team to start scrimming and coaching again.
牛逼 ，OK， 支持 ，OK， 死了是吧 ？OK， 你们自己打，这有个皮克费，两个，倒两，没两个都倒了吗？死完，给同学，枪没击死完 ，SMG 满兵，这边烧倒一个，还有一个，死完，牛逼，不多直接打。
So Swan means all dead.
脸上倒一个，死完，哎，没有，倒的。
Swan. Okay, so how should a Weibo played this? They should have... They should have just stacked 4 players at the top and used smokes. They should do exactly what TJB is doing. They smoke off the right side so SMG can't get free shots into them to third party. And then they just set up a defense like this on the high ground. Problem is, this part isn't in zone. So they're going to have to come down here anyways. But, yeah. Weibo tried to control both sides. Weibo tried to control this side and the bottom side. And, yep. TJB just took advantage of that. Yeah.
那个救起来了吗？哎，救怎么没，已经弹了。现在应该好了，微博死完。屁股对着他。他打不了你，自己都可以放这样。倒一个。我现在趴了一个。左边。碾死你，兄弟！走。死完，牛逼。Oberno 为快突破本场比赛的 MVP。
Which team is the best outside of China? Zeus. Zeus is currently the best team outside of China. Zeus beat a Chinese team in PEI, and then Zeus got 3rd place and PMGC behind the 2 Chinese teams, 4AM and Nova. And Zeus got 2nd place in their region, but that's because one team targeted them in the last game and prevented them from getting 1st place. So Zeus would be the best team right now. Outside of China, Zeus would be the best team. Oh, what does Naga mean in Chinese? So in Chinese there's a phrase called Naga. So it's the equivalent of saying the in English. Like you know how sometimes people just say, you know, the what's it called, the MP4 or the you know, that when people speak English, they rely on the word the sometimes to just say something while they're thinking. It's the same with the Chinese word Naga. It technically means that. You know, the Chinese word Naga means that, like Naga Reng means that person. But the reason why you hear Chinese people say it like just Naga is when they say it, it's like the. They're using it like the way people say the word the.
每一个镜头都带你身临其境，如入战场，为每一个精彩瞬间而战。VSPN 全球电竞领跑者。
A lot of y'all pros like Zoo added me for some reason. Is it because we played the other day, Advisory? Oh, you think you're done competing?
玩游戏时总是一个人，说好的团队竞技，最后却变成单人的游戏。上勾勾语音，找到最合适你的队友。没有拖家带口，只有强强联手。搜索勾勾语音，各大平台均可下载。
Oh, back when you competed with Accelerate. Oh, okay.
好的，大家好，欢迎回来，我是 TJ Star 阿梅，我是 TJ Star 哲。
Who do you think is the best team, including China? So basically, which team is the best Chinese team? That's a hard one. This year so far, from what I've seen, this year it would be Weibo Gaming. Weibo Gaming won PEI, and they also won Season 2. So this year so far, it would be Weibo. Overall, though, it is still Nova for me. Nova is still the best team. But this year so far, like, Nova's still playing well. So it's not like Nova fell off like 4AM. 4AM kind of, I don't know what's going on with 4AM. But overall, the best team is still Nova, in my opinion. But right now, so far for this year, Weibo Gaming has been doing really well. And Weibo Gaming, by the way, is ELG. If you remember, ELG made it to the world stage a few times also, along with Nova. So ELG/Weibo Gaming is also a team that has done really well at the very high level over the years. Nova just has always been a bit better than them, but right now for this year so far, Weibo Gaming is doing better. What if Indian teams come? I think Indian teams, they're not going to be as good as other regions, just simply because they haven't played the game for a really long time. There's no way the India region is as competitive as other regions, because they simply didn't have tournaments. Like, it's impossible. Even if you're the best team in India, when you compete on the global level, when you're comparing India to other regions, they're gonna be behind, simply because like they haven't been able to compete at the highest levels. 2 million live viewers on Huya. That's crazy. Yeah, 2 million people watching right now on Huya.
目前呢，应该还是没有办法登到我们的赛场上。估计在 S3是可以看到他的身影。是的。那上场比赛。
Yeah, ELG won that tournament. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. The one in Berlin, right? My views on TSM Jonathan? Jonathan's really good. Jonathan's got a lot of skill. Indian teams have become weaker. They can't even make it to Super Weekend and PMPL Arabia. Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, TES won Berlin. He was saying ELG won the tournament in China that got them invited to Berlin. And Nova had to qualify in prelims for Berlin. Yeah, ELG won the Chinese qualifiers is what I was reading. I think winning the Chinese region qualifiers is harder to do than winning the global tournament. Winning the Chinese qualifiers means you're playing against all other Chinese teams and you win. And then winning a global championship means there's less Chinese teams you have to beat. Yeah, that was the year that everyone knew. Okay, China #1. China's #1, 2, and 3. Yeah, one Chinese team invited to the Berlin finals, right? The Chinese team that won in China. And then the two others had to go through qualifications. Both Chinese teams made it through qualifications. And then the top 3 in the global finals for Berlin were all Chinese. That was the year that everyone was like, oh shit. Alright, well, looks like it's not about BTR. It looks like it's all about China.
其实很多观众朋友们在游玩的过程当中，总觉得看咱们 PEL 比赛啊，可能学习不到太多枪法、个人上面的东西。对，但实际上我们 PEL 给大家带来的是一个在战术层面上的这种表演。是的，我觉得对于目前啊想要参加这个城市赛啊，或者是其他级别，或者是各种各样的这种比赛的观众朋友们来说，是非常有一个指导意义的，没错，非常有价值的。 刚才我们在探讨的起始端的3支战队会不会跳伞呢？他们肯定是选择跳了。跳了之后呢，这个航线，和圈型搭配起来看的话是非常不错的。除了 ACG 可能在西侧，他会选择从西侧的桥过之外呢，我觉得 TMG 是能够拿到过桥的一个第1顺位。而且今天 Team Pi 不在，他们也不用担心有人会卡桥，因为天霸战队是更想去拿顺位。
The new Turkin team next to Ria Gaming? I don't know much about them. I haven't watched them play.
落点。
Make game full screen? Oh yeah, you're right. Sorry, my bad. Sorry. Chinese TPP games were also more intense and crazy back then compared to now. TPP just makes the game like so much more difficult, in my opinion. Which I don't mind. But FPP, like, FPP makes the game more simple to the point where if you're the better team, you'll be the better team. And TPP, if you're the better team, TPP can still really screw you over. No, I did not see the last Turkin PMPL.
之前的一些数据上来看的话 ，Sunflower 在队内的一个输出占比经常是能够达到40%加的。是的，而且他们队内呢还有 YZZ 这样一个。
I predicted the best team was not in China.
说他们两个人珠联璧合，应该说对于。
I think that was the first time we saw the Chinese teams play, so I had no idea.
随着我们的比赛进行啊，在这个教练的更换。 选手的这个频次，我们发现会变得更多了。是，这也。
Which top player you have played is best for you? What do you mean? Like who's the best player? Or do you mean which player have I played with that's the best player? Why are Chinese good at any games? Because they take gaming way more seriously in China. Basically, in China, they treat their gamers like how in the United States they would treat their football players, like NFL players, like American football or basketball players. Like the best basketball players in the world are in the United States because we take basketball very seriously in the United States. It's as if India treated their mobile players as if they were like isn't cricket very competitive in India? What's the most popular sport in India? It's not called cricket. I forgot what the game was called. Is it called cricket? Cricket? Okay, it is cricket. Yeah, so imagine if they treated mobile gamers or esport players in India the same way they treat their cricket players. Like they pay them a good amount. They have a lot of staff. They take it very seriously. They put a lot of money into finding out the best players and to developing players. That's basically why China is so good at this game and many other games.
换一套竞选路线，没有必要打，没有必要打，这个确实是没有必要啊。就前面我那个理论嘛，今天虽然是5-2-0，但是该分手时，不要再说5-2-0。再次，我阿梅再次强调一下啊，5-2-0是一个甜蜜的节日，是让自己和自己的知心爱人就是开心和幸福的一天啊。不会吧？真的。
But there's always players and certain teams that could beat other regions when they don't have as much support. Like in PUBG PC, an American team, Sonics, won the global championship for PUBG PC. Which top players have you played with is best for you? Oh, the player that I've played with that's probably the best player is probably Sixless. Sixless was on my team for a little bit, but that was only for one tournament. I think the best player I've played with like that I really teamed up with for a while would probably be Carnage. It would be Carnage. So I've been on a team with no, actually Nico is really good too, and I was on a team with Nico for a little bit. Nico, Juicy, Angry, Telly, Carnage, Wi-Fi, Spring, King A, Beach Banana. Those are the players I've been with on a team with for the longest. I don't know, it's hard to say. Yeah, and the reason why Chinese are so good at the game also is because they focus more on teamwork. They focus more on teamwork and analyzing fights and how to take the fights. Whereas, as far as North America goes, it's more about individual play. It's more about how nasty your shots are, how good you are as a single player. But in China, they focus more on positioning in fights and how to take the strongest positions quicker in a fight. and being able to outplay the enemy team through positioning and speed. And that requires a lot of teamwork and a lot of brains to do quickly. Requires teams to be very smart and quick. Whereas North America, it's more like, how good are you as an individual player to win your gunfights and stuff. And Gangstars, yeah, I was on a team for Gangstars, but I wasn't really on a team with them. I was only on Gangstars because one of their players couldn't go, remember? So they picked me up.
不多说了，但是现在来看的话，北边的战队马上就要乱成一锅粥了，因为 JD 骁龙战队现在他终于发现自己的选择是多么的明智，而卫腾英士兵战队
Oh yeah, so
下来之后呢，被 SMG
Gangstars, Pyra couldn't play ESL because he was too young. So they had me play ESL in LA for them in Gangstars. And then in Dubai, Beowulf couldn't go to Dubai. Pyra was at LA. Pyra was at LA, but ESL had a 16-year-old rule, and Pyra at the time wasn't 16 years old. So Pyra couldn't play in LA, so I played for Pyra. And then in Dubai, Beowulf couldn't go to Dubai.
这对于 ST 来说应该是一个有准备的进攻，可惜 TMG 的防守也是有准备的。
雷仔好警觉啊！停到那个位置之后，发现
What is going on?
马上开车溜了。
导师这边
Oh, he killed one of the TMG players. It's a 2v3. Oh, and one of them got knocked. Oh, by LGD. What? Where the heck did Suki shoot that TMG player from?
我觉得啊，这一波不只是争夺的速度变慢，可以说是 ST 死里逃生的一波。如果说阿杰
How did he get on the roof? You could get on the roof by jumping on the balcony here. You gotta get on this balcony, and you gotta like hop, like back out a little bit, and then climb onto the thing.
没有抛物线。
而另外一边 ，Powerboy 的大盘击这次直接爆头带走花师。 上一场比赛看起来伞兵被大盘击带走还是有一些脾气的。
终于拿到了专属武器。
Dubai was lit until technical difficulties. Yeah, there's a lot of technical difficulties. And Beach Banana, Beach Banana is just doing school now. Beach Banana isn't playing the game anymore. Oh yeah, and I did my breakdancing at Dubai during the technical failures. That seems very hard. It's not the easiest to get on the roof, but it's not too hard either if you practice it a little bit.
可以说算得上是。
没有，不要老提这4个字啊！这4个字是关键的时候才能用的。来看一下，还未到关键。
Oh look, Weibo Gaming in the very central. Oh look at that split by Weibo Gaming too. Jeez.
哎呦，对不起，渠道没有机会了，没有机会。但是现在可不可以说这个位置是？
我觉得目前看起来4面。
This is the last game, by the way, to determine top 5 to see who qualifies for the weekend finals. Right now, Nova, Weibo Gaming look very good, and then 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th are very close in points.
固守一下，等待一下。有一个问题啊。就是周边能冲到他们的人都没有作案动机啊。
确实，
他们自己的位置本来就不错，但如果说有作案
You missed my dance at the sure. My dance at the very first Dubai tournament. Ironsight just streams on Facebook. He still plays the game. Oh, Nova has 4 players. Never mind. They revived Yi somehow.
268发大盘击，唰，3发子弹花枝子头直接打爆。这268发伞兵在这个位置的火力压制也太夸张了。
DP Paragod, dude.
抢补掉了，花枝真的是两眼一摸黑。
我相信也有很多观众朋友
Paraboy with the DP. I don't know how they saved Yi. I thought Yi was dead. Hold on. Let me see. I saw Yi get knocked in a really bad spot. I have no idea how they saved Yi.
在土路一条街这样的一个位置稍微固守一下，不着急。
其实 Showtime 既然你要往西边绕，就绕到底呗。啊，东边也放2个，西边也放2个。
There's too much action going on right now, so I don't want to go back. I know. I saw Yi get knocked in a really bad spot. I don't know how they saved Yi.
而且行业和展子哥也不可能平地干拉过去嘛，所以说 Showtime 这边，回防然后拉人是常规操作。
等一等吧，阶段3刚刚才刷新完毕，在这个圈边打。
I miss hearing Sixes and Carnage argue about rotations.
也没有那么大的必要。
Oh.
看到天霸的这个假车库的这个位置啊，也是可以瞬间往北上的。
对，甚至他们可以在收费站下面再等一会儿。收费站好像是在。
I'm looking for a PMJL team. I'm more likely just gonna be a coach for this year. Cause I gotta learn Japanese better if I want to play at a high level for PMJL. So I might just coach this year. Move to Japan, find a PMJL team, coach for the year. That way I could still do casting because I'm not a player on a team. And then SMG left without confirming kill and Order went back and revived just in time. Damn. What a save.
看看啊，阶段4马上要刷新了，而 TMG 和 ST 还是因为刚刚 LGD 的那一波枪线，目前还是非常舒服，
继续做邻居嘛。
邻居
对不对？现在没有分手的必要吗？
哎呦，那这个圈刷完了之后，我们先看天霸，因为刚刚的这个 RNG 和 Showtime 没有打架，所以导致天霸也没有一个进攻的时间。现在他们再把车头和枪头往北边看的话，我觉得这样的一个操作很有可能会耽误天霸进城的时机。
Interesting zone.
TC 战队的这波急速转移来到了体坛的脸上 ，Showtime 他们作何选择
Xenox solo wiped Ghost twice, really?
但是你要知道
Oh, I saw one of them. I saw one of the clips where Xenox wiped Ghost. Japanese is easy, bro. Top 5 teams in the world? I think 3 of the 5 or 4 of the 5 would be Chinese teams, and then maybe Zeus. I think Zeus is better than some of the tier 1 Chinese teams. But I think 4 of the top 5 in the world would be Chinese teams. Any idea what's Wicked up to? Wicked is just doing a lot of stocks. Wicked has been doing a lot of stocks, like stock market stuff. PEL has quite the global viewers. Why don't you approach organizers? PEL is only interested in Chinese casters. They don't care about English casters. Because it's a Chinese game, even though a lot of English viewers watch it, it's still mainly a Chinese viewer base.
这一波进攻对于天霸来说真的是没有办法的办法，
不妙啊，不妙啊！
没有办法的办法，看看正面，
我觉得 RNG 的机会来了呀！这个中转站其实是可以一拿，值得一拿的。
这个地方不在圈内，我打完了之后，里面 JZ 骁龙还在，
只能做一个中转站，而不能作为一个落脚之处。
这 RNG 看看这个中转站肯定是不能进的啊！
哎，先撤了。
如果说踩在圈内的小高点，这反斜坡用载具一架，反身架你农场里的2队，
反找他反找 JD 骁龙吗？
完了，搞错地方了 ！RNG 搞错地方了，这是一个满编，这是最近状态起来的 JD 骁龙，看看这波怎么打。北渊碰上了舒展，舒展一下子直接打成了自己残血。
这一波 RNG 明修栈道，暗度陈仓，来到了陈仓道口，但是对手实力太过强大，一瞬之间 RNG 就被融化了。
I think RNG mistake the fight here as the same team holding the defense on the south. That was a. I'm gonna say that was a throw. I think. Wait, did RNG only have 2 players? No, they had 4 players. All 4 players pulled up. Yeah. I think there was better options for RNG. RNG out of top 5, yeah. All they need is top 10 tomorrow, though.
两口子还能继续搭伙过日子呢。
哎呦
Weibo Gaming stay getting
6
circle.
口子6个人在这分着，而另外一边 LGD 位置也不差。 微博就更加别说了。那么在之前的几个圈一直踩着好高点的 NV 腾讯视频啊，现在是面对了身旁的。
I want to see LGD qualify.
已经下班了呀，他这个时候就算被淘汰掉了，也没有拿下战队能把他挤开，那倒是。看看这边，哎呦，韦13直接是被对方给放倒了。
哎呦，佟家宝和 TC 是同时选择了正面冲击，但是看起来好像 TC 选择的这个厕所更香。你看。
Can I make a PUBG M guide tips and tricks? I will sometime during this year. Dude, everybody got beams in China, dude.
我先这么说吧，TC 战队要去救魏无羡的，肯定是接到死命令。 你记得在上一场比赛 TC 正面那一波 battle 叫的最凶的是谁
Do you think that's how teams should focus rather than showing off aggression?
那一声是撕心裂肺啊！
来看清油，第一时间都没有选择打药啊，赶快找一个安全的地方，先贴到了
That's a really hard. It's really complicated. There's no simple answer to if teams should be more aggressive or focus more on rotations. It's all very, very situational. Top 5 teams except China? Zeus, BTR. Maybe Ghost Gaming. We'll have to see this year how well they do in a global stage. Zeus and BTR for sure. BTR is still somewhere in the top 5 outside of China.
跟 ACT 是打了一波，好像还拿下胜利了。
而 JD 骁龙这边的经典作战处事不利呀，对方还是有3个有生力量，先补一个，
补掉一个。另外一边我们在画面左下角可以看到 NV 腾讯视频，这边已经是主动出击，还抓到了 Showtime， 看看谁能打过 Paraboy， 再次用他的 AK 带走了一。
Oh, look at the bottom left.
左下角还在继续的输出。 Showtime 再来一员，一台车。
He's just driving in circles, running over Nova. Oh, this fight on the bottom left is so much more entertaining to watch.
在烟雾内持续的试探，把所有倒地的人都拉了起来。哦，这是痛击自己的队友。
是的，烟雾当中只剩一个清油，闪转腾挪之间，最终还是不敌体坛战队啊！
你看。 这体坛以前的正面团战打得如此的精彩，但是为什么会在520这一天痛击自己的队友呢？值得深思。
想说什么故事吗？还是回到比赛当中啊！刚才看到 NV 腾讯视频战队以55分被淘汰出局，但是呢，他们前5名的位置
Footballers should be in the top 5.
我们只看到了 NV 腾讯视频撞修，他没有。
Oh, Konina Power. I think Konina Power is pretty damn consistent. Also.
这一波我们也注意到了，最终分数是定格在了56分嘛，说明他们正面团战还是打赢了。
Navi's really good, but Navi was so inconsistent last year in PMGC. Navi is so inconsistent. I don't know if they're a top 5 team yet. If they get more consistent, for sure. But Navi was like, Navi almost didn't make it into the finals, and then they got 4th place. But even with them getting 4th place, some of the games they did really bad, some of the games they did really good. And you have gunpowder, they should focus on strategy and teamwork. The problem with focusing on strategy and teamwork is that it's hard to improve your strategy and teamwork when your region isn't that strong. The only way you could develop your strategy and teamwork the fastest is if everybody you compete against also have really good strategy and teamwork. That way you have to evolve and become quicker and faster and better. But if your region isn't that high level, it's hard to make your strategy and teamwork better, because if you're already doing really good in your region, there's no reason to change your strategy. And it's hard to even know what you're doing wrong when other teams just are bad. right? And you just win either way. It's the same with Japan. I've been watching a lot of Japan teams play, and top level teams in Japan just make so many mistakes where one team makes a really bad mistake, but they still win the fight because the other team makes an even worse mistake. And so it's like you get away with things. That goes for India too, most likely. Where if you're the top team in India, you don't know what you're doing wrong because you're the best team. Because you don't get punished. Okay, hold on. I have to watch this back again. How did ST win that fight? How? What? 3v4 and they're pushing in? Let's watch this again.
要在一个适当的时候啊，封住厕所的门口，在 storytime 还有情侣战队打得不可开交的时候 ，TC 战队站出来要做点什么。如果说让秦九和 storytime 以一个高，是以这种烟墙战术给贴到近点，一颗手雷带走的。是的，但是这边 storytime
Wait, they just
为什么打得这么主动？
Okay, so they have 2 players driving in, 1 player in the back. So the 2 players driving in is the distraction. 1 player gets a knock with the gun. The other ST player literally runs someone over. ST ran over 2 people, got a knock with the player in the back with the gun. This ST guy drove over 2 players, and now it's a 1v1. It was a 3v4. They ran over 2. They knocked 1 with the gun in the back, and now it's the 1v1.
开车无伤撞倒2人，
但是现在还得
Yo, what?
现在帅狗把人拉起来之后，这样的一台合金龙骨还有烟雾弹，他是不是再次的要上车？
They go back for the revive.
没有上车。
秦九战队的人员太过密集，3个趴地的，但是班子队灵性的选择了另外一个角度。不过帅
狗一穿。
Is that the strat? Is that the new meta? I mean, 3v4, and you gotta push in, and the enemy team has a pretty good defense. Like this 3v4. Is that the right play? Like, is this like the best way to do it? I feel like they got kind of lucky with the runovers, but if they didn't decide to do it this way, was there a better way? If you smoke in and try and grenade and fight your way in, it's still a 4v3, and the enemy team could just grenade back at you. And most likely, with trades, the enemy team will win because they have an extra player, and you're pushing into them. So even if you get 2 grenade locks, you probably get 1 player traded out, 2v2. You're still at the disadvantage pushing in. I don't know, man. I do like how they had 1 player in the back, though, right? And the 2 players driving in were like distractions. There is no aim assist, so maybe the driving vehicle meta is stronger because there's no aim assist. It's harder to shoot players out of cars, maybe. And it is definitely a risk. I think this is a risk. Yeah. I'm 50-50 on it. Like, it's a risk they had to take, and it was a risk that paid off. Even if they didn't do that, they still had to risk it by driving in. So, I don't know. That's pretty crazy, though.
排在第5名的 RNG 38分已经被灭掉了。
等等，为什么 LGD 一直是在打北边的微博和体坛？
因为他们想要加入到这个大家，他人间
啊，这马
最爽无比的。不过目前修他们肯定不敢来，他一来的话，这个相亲相爱房那火力是十足啊。
但是我觉得相亲相爱房马上就要开始打起来了，
会去贴到这个冲击出人。
哦，
就是这个水。 我一旦站住了这个水塔，城里的人生死都由我管控。
Comes a full send. Oh, what? They mollied themselves. Oh my gosh.
提前的火烧掉了2人， 但是这样的一个操作给帅狗了一波输出空间，帅狗再下一人，还有吗？
左侧有枪线，左侧有枪线。
Oh, how did that TC player not knock him?
自己在躲避枪线的同时呢，上车了
，5个了。在今天上场之前，我也看到了社交媒体对于 Showtime 的
ST can make top 5 if they do well here.
大拳拳和99，感觉其他的2位队员
So can TEC, ST, TC, TMG.
应该是完全证明了自己，6个淘汰拿到手中。还要往前冲，
清理到了侧面枪线之后呢，但是刚刚进圈，还是有大拳拳，这里完成了断后。
帅狗，对不起，我夸早了，
也没有问题啊，也没有问题，人还可以拉，相亲相爱房，战端一开 ，ST 也在圈里边。
LGD is looking
最后加入
strong.
的 LGD， 最终还是以人数的优势占领了这个。
Weibo Gaming looking even stronger. LGD made top 5.
如果让 LGD 满边推进来的
I'm pretty sure LGD made top 5 here.
如果说要在这个相亲相爱房做一些什么的话，他们在20分钟之前就可以做了。20分钟之前我选择了不做，现在我依然选择不做。
干大事要趁早，一个房间。
Desperate times calls for desperate measures. That is 100% true. Like, that is actually so true. Like, there's a lot of times where you're in a really bad position and you just gotta do something crazy. And if it works, it works. If it doesn't, you're dead either way.
这边导师想要找一个机会，但是被猫猫放倒。王远，这边是1换1，
直接选择补掉，而且也非常明显，不弹枪。
They didn't get the trade on that.
先不喝投掷物，敌人在眼前，咱们先喝一罐可乐压压惊。
换一个角度出来，刚好抓住了苏给捏了的一个 timing，
全是头皮，吃了一个闪光弹，白了啊！有我王媛媛决赛圈白人，你这阶段8还想白我王媛媛
LGD is dead here.
只剩下的苏给一个人。
Oh!
苏给的手雷终于
Good nade by Suki. 1v1.
还在拉人，苏给能不能抓住这样的一个机会
It's gonna be reset.
选择了拉锁骨啊！
王媛媛在被击倒的同时，迅速的回到了自己的安全屋。相亲相爱房最终还是变成了地狱修罗场。人扶起来了吗 ？Suki， 这个窗户没有窗户，只有一个小窗户。
Oh, one of the SCE players got knocked by Weibo.
厨房今天不生火，小房间
自己不能继续向前，但是子弹
Weibo with the third party saved LGD.
在今天这个日子，这样的一个结果，感觉好像
在520这样一个特殊的日子里，我们在相亲相爱房。
Well, LGD is dead here. LGD is dead. They don't have cover to play with. Yeah, LGD is dead. But they made top 5, I'm pretty sure. If ST and ST also made top 5? Yeah, ST made top 5.
帅狗如果说把这3个人都拿下的话，他应该是可以突破这个记录的。帅狗再来一个，明明倒了，2打2，大拳拳
，Z9 也快倒了，
正面扫了一波 Z9 已经残血，帅狗93分的备弹，2级头3级甲持续的输出。
这是Weibo Gaming第4次
They have one player on the flank. It's a distraction.
难道说这一次又要折戟沉沙了吗？将军也被击倒了。
最后时刻
，ST made it.
帅狗拿到了自己生涯的记录，单场获得9个淘汰，用自己的实力打破了所有的质疑。
外星科技齐心协力，这一波Showtime。
Wait, is ST the team that ran over the players?
我相信这场
Are they? The ST is the team that. Oh my god, dude. ST qualified top 5. They had to win. ST, look at the points down here. They're 11th place at this point. The fucking, this was the play of the game for ST to qualify. The team that pushed with 2 buggies. That was the game-winning play. Let's watch it one more time. If they desperate times call for desperate measures, and this fucking worked, and they won the game because of it. Look at the kill feed. Look at the kill feed. This guy ran over this person, and he also ran over that person. He ran over 2 players. and the player in the back got a knock with a gun. 3v4.
这边也是把楚大堂给打倒了，但是只剩下一个外队的车，哎得，合金龙骨还有烟雾弹，他是不是再次的要上车往前撞了？没有上车。
哦，秦九战队的人员太过密集，3个趴地的，但是外队队灵性的选择了另外一个角度，不过帅狗反应更快，Showtime 这波的主动啊，无懈可击。
这一波帅狗1穿3，他靠的不是枪，靠的就是脚下的这台车。这一波打完了之后，对于 Showtime 来说。
GG says he.
至关重要。那为什么加入到这个大家？他
口子，
但是
2灯火中做自己
这样的一个操作，给帅狗了一波输。
说没有，
这一次10分，差第6名3分，很可惜。但是我觉得以他们的这个状态，明天晋级。
Weibo Gaming first place again. Woo!
没毛病吧？没毛病。
Weibo Gaming OP.
状态也好，或者说从他们当时的积分来看，还是稳住了自己的位置。而另外2支
出到了周决赛了。
这个在这觉得大家
这个个人贡献榜，感谢以上粉丝对我们的大力支持。好的，那么接下来的时间。
Oh, let's hear the comms. Oh my god.
应该会拉血波，注意点。拉血波，注意点。我们前面这个倒了。记得，开始撞。应该会拉。我们前面这个倒了。记得，开始撞。应该会拉血波。
Oh my god, dude. Don't forget to like the stream. Yes, thank you, Primrose. Drop me a like. He mollied himself on accident.
我查了兄弟，好离谱！
一个火应该是烧了2。
我真打了。阳台有圈，
又打一个。
死了，14，可以打，配合他。都在搁这蹲着，
这时候说话是听得见。
倒了，上隔壁。打药，没有，我可以救走路。
我发了个闪。
别着急，等他们打完。
我有闪，我还有多闪。
小房间，别进，别吃火箭，但是牛逼！
他要翻船出的。微博好多，微博很多人，3个人好像。支持，2打3。
老退一点。
我再打个药。
赶紧拖。2打1。他打药，拖。
破入了自己淘汰榜第1的位置。
没错，我们再往后看，第2名是 Showtime 帅狗，第3名是微博的明明，第4名
大宽
小爷，第5名是 Showtime 的大拳。
今天的 Showtime 确实是啊，大拳的这个外星科技啊，已经逐渐的给自己。
ZTA viewer party PEL Weibo be like, I'm gonna make you my fanboy. Every time I've watched Weibo Gaming has been doing well. Apparently in week 1 though, Weibo Gaming didn't do too well, and I wasn't watching week 1, but week 2 they got first place. And week 3 day 1 they got first place. So and I watched PEI, and PEI Weibo Gaming got first place. So maybe I'm Weibo Gaming's good luck charm. Who do you think? What do you think about PMPL Southeast Asia tomorrow? Who will win? Let's look at. Okay, so tomorrow and the weekend we're gonna be viewer partying PMPL Southeast Asia. We will not be watching PEL. So let's see if Weibo Gaming does well in the. We'll actually watch PEL too. We'll switch back and forth, but we'll mainly watch PMPL. Let's take a look at the teams. $18 matches, 16 teams, top 3 from SEA, winner being regular. Look, first place for the whole entire 100. Hold on. Let me hold on. It's ridiculous how much money is in China, dude. Okay, like this is a lot of money, right? But let's go to what we're on season 2 right now. Okay, yeah, season 2. Okay, look. Where's the weekly prize? Where do they show the weekly prize? Oh, weekly prize here. Weekly prize, okay? So look. This weekly prize, all right? Weekly. Each week, the first place team for the week. There's 5 weeks, okay? 1 million RMB. Or, wait, is this 1 mil? Yeah, 1 million. Did I type 1 million? Oh, yeah, here we go. Chinese yuan, or not RMB, yuan. Okay, look. Weekly prize. The weekly prize, first place for the week. So in the weekly finals, first place, $155,000. The prize pool for the entire SEA finals. For the entire prize pool of the SEA finals is less than the first place prize just for the week. This is the weekly prize. $302,000 in prize winnings each week. This is why Chinese teams take the game so seriously, because there's so much. That's not even the crazy part. So I already said this, but okay, look. Each year, or for this year, there is 4 seasons of PEL, right? You see season 1, season 2, season 3 hasn't started yet, season 4. So there's 4 seasons, and in those 4 seasons, there's 5 weeks, and in each week, there's $305,000 each week, right? Each week it's $305,000. There's also the MVP for each week gets a prize. There's a finals MVP and the best rookie. They also get a prize. So each week there's $305,000 given out each week. And then after the 5 weeks, you have the finals. Right? The top 15 from all the weeks go into the finals. And then in the finals, there's another prize pool. First place gets $391,000. So the total prize pool for the season is $2 million. For just one season. In one season, there's $2 million. And there's 4 seasons. So there's 8 million for the year. I think there's more than 8 mil, actually. I think it's like 10 million prize pools for the whole year. And that's only for the China teams. This doesn't include PEC prize pool. Look, PEC is not listed on here. This doesn't include PEC. This also doesn't include PEI, which is both held in China also. The budget is insane in China. And the reason why they have so much money is because so many people watch the game. Just now, what we watched, right, had 2 million live viewers watching in China. Also, because China has so many people, China's economy is just massive. China as a country just has so much money, right? But then they also love esports. They take esports very seriously in China. They love esports there just as much as the US likes basketball, right? So that's why there's so much money. BTR got more money in PEI than they'll get for winning SEA. Exactly. Like, it's just, the money is insane in China. So we will still be watching PMPL Southeast Asia finals though. So let's go back. Okay, let's take a look at the teams. So we got BTR, Livescape, Aura. Oh, I know this player, Jexy. I remember Jexy. His name is very familiar. He was in Star Challenge. Oh, he was on under Bullshark and Evos. Okay, I remember Jexy. Evos is playing. Oh, Microboy joined Evos. Ooh, it'd be fun to see Evos versus BTR. Watch Microboy 1v4 BTR. FaZe Clan. Bullshark, Vino, Corpie. That's a pretty strong team. The Infinity. Valdez the Murder, Martin, Goddard. Those are some veteran players. I recognize the name Gui too. RSG Malaysia. My boy Kim. Shoutouts to Kim. Hopefully RSG does well. Who is still in BTR? Zuxi, Luxy, Ryzen, Liquid, Kings, and yeah. Their coach is Jang S. Geek Fam. We saw Geek Fam and PEI. Dingoes. Dingoes is playing. HVNB. This was also a PEI team, I think. Yeah. Eagle. Infinity. This seems like a lobby that BTR should do well in. I don't see too many top tier teams. But then again, I don't know. I don't follow the Southeast Asia scene too closely. I recognize BTR. FaZe, I recognize Bullshark. Bullshark used to be on Evos. I recognize Corpie. I recognize Martin, Goddard. Aura's probably a decent team too, I guess, because I see Jexy in it. I know Jexy's a good player. Orange Esports. I don't recognize any of the players on Orange, but I remember Orange Esports. But yeah, we'll MPL Southeast Asia tomorrow. Oh, the Geek Fam that was in PEI is ID. This is the Malaysia SG team due to the one team member got taken. Oh, okay. That's okay, so this is not the same Geek Fam team. Okay. RIQ Athena, did he retire? I'm not sure. Yeah, I know these are the top tier teams, but I mean like globally, on a global level are these top tier teams, because BTR is I would consider BTR a top tier global team. So that's why I was saying I don't see many top tier teams, so BTR should do well because they're one of the global top tier teams. Yeah, that's what I meant. Geek Fam ID changed your name to Livescope. Oh, so Livescope. Oh, okay. Gotcha. Or Livescape, not Livescope. So this is the Geek Fam team? Oh yeah, this is the Geek Fam team. Mort. I remember seeing Mort pop off in PEI. Mort did pretty well. Right? Yeah, PEI. Okay. So Livescape is the PEI team we saw in... Or Livescape is the Geek Fam team we saw in PEI. They got 10th place in PEI. Man, I want to see Zeus play again, dude. I just want to watch Zeus play. Zeus is something else. Zeus is so good. Also, a freaking Huya FA got easy. The streamer team, Huya. If you guys don't remember, Huya FA, look, they don't even have a page because they're not an actual organization. And told Huya FA was just a streamer team from the wild card that qualified into the finals, and they got 2nd place. Huya isn't playing in PEL because this Huya team is not a PEL team. They were a streamer team that was just playing for fun in the wild card tournament, and they got 1st place. And one of the players, Wildcat, like the most impressive player that I saw from PEI as a single solo player, he had the most impressive plays. But then again, the only reason we got to see Wildcat really show up is because his team... Well, then again, his team overall got 2nd place. So, I mean... But yeah, Wildcat or Ymao joined Nova. Yeah, Ymao joined Nova. Ymao is now on the Nova Academy team. And he's looking to join the main lineup. But I don't know if he will join the main lineup because right now Nova is doing pretty well in PEL with their Nova Yi, their new 4th player. Yi has been doing pretty well. But all right, we'll be watching this tomorrow, guys. That's it for the stream. Thank you guys for being here and watching. Hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you guys tomorrow for PMPL Southeast Asia. It's going to be 6 games each day for 3 days. It's going to be a long day, and it's starting like at 4 in the morning for me. But, okay, thank you guys. Thank you for being here. Bye, everyone. Take care. Have a good day or a good night. Throw up the heart, because you guys are all throwing hearts. All right, bye-bye. You guys are the best.